Copy.
Let me share it a couple places.
Copy.
Welcome back to Live on Patrol, a special edition Live on Patrol lunchtime. And for those of you that thought you were going to watch Pat and I eat lunch, not actually the case. We thought maybe there are some viewers that don't like to stay up late at night and might want to tune in on their lunch break at work or at home. So, thank you so much for joining us. If you're a first-time viewer, please, let us know where you're from. We're always interested to see where people are listening from. It is 11:14 on Wednesday, and already the last half hour there's been several calls. And Pat, you want to kind of summarize what's been going on?
Yeah, there have been this morning already, there have been a number of shots fired calls, primarily on the east side. And in the Western District, in the area of Selby and Cleveland, was an attempted strong-arm robbery and a completed strong-arm robbery involving at least 3 suspects in a small black SUV, possibly a Honda CRV with no plates on it. So it's been a fairly busy morning already.
Yeah, we never know really what to expect. Traditionally, crime didn't really get going until much later in the day, but we have seen a shift since COVID came to much more activity during the day. And for those of you that are new, we try to monitor 6 frequencies in Ramsey County. Ramsey County is the capital county, the city of St. Paul. We're actually just driving by the Capitol here on our left, headed toward downtown. The city of St. Paul is the capital. And there's 3 frequencies in the city of St. Paul, and then another 3 frequencies in suburban Ramsey County. So speaking of the city of St. Paul, we want to wish Chief
330, checking your status.
Chief Axtell well. He's just recovering from COVID. I think he's back to work now.
Yeah, he was working from home.
Yeah, St. Paul Police Chief was kind of a quiet thing until it was in the paper here about his recovery. So, just a really fine person, and we're so glad that he's, staying healthy. And as a gentleman that wanted to cross there. So best wishes to you, Todd. Glad you're healthy. I hope your significant other, your wife, is healthy as well. So we're just headed downtown. There's a call over here at the Ordway Theater. It's in pending. Remember, a lot of the calls get dispatched, and we certainly run in, but because of the volume of calls, some calls get dispatched, don't get dispatched right away, and they're in the pending queue, which there are several in the pending queue. One is over here at the Ordway Theater in St. Paul, and we want to just run over there and make sure everybody's safe. There's a lot of yelling and screaming going on, and some people are calling. And if you haven't, by the way, because this is a new time, most people know that our normal time is 9/11 on Friday nights. If you haven't, shared this with your friends, please do that. Just so a lot of people aren't aware that we were going to go on Wednesday afternoon at 11:11.
254.
The problem here is reportedly a 6-foot-tall black male wearing a black hoodie, yelling at others and students in the neighborhood, or in the area.
A lot of our problems downtown are stemming from a failed homeless and unsheltered strategy. And I was working the other night. Actually, I was just working downtown, and we do want to talk about that a little bit today too, because we'll run in on calls as things evolve. But while I was out of town and during our break there, they did move 50 tents from Kellogg and 35E to other locations, and I just want to talk about the strategy.
Yeah, Reginald, this is Pat Scott. I'm with the Sheriff's Department, and we're in the area. Good. Did the gentleman leave the area?
Pat's calling the complainant, see if we can get any more detailed information.
Back and forth from the Excel Center on Washington Street, just yelling and cursing. And did he actually confront any people, or is he just kind of shouting to the wind? Okay. All right. Well, we are in the area looking for him, Reginald, and thank you so much for your call. Take care. So he was apparently harassing a female at one point who had to ask somebody else to escort her down the street and away from the area.
Where was he last seen?
Headed this way here.
Well, we'll probably look for him a little more, and then we'll let the dispatch center know that he's GOA, which means gone on arrival. That's one of our dispositions. Or if we were to find him and advise him, we'd say advise. If we assist some complainant, we would say assisted. But Pat talked to the complainant. Doesn't look like he's anywhere to be seen. Terrible thing that happened in Los Angeles with those 2 deputies being shot at and nearly assassinated.
Horrible.
I mean, the female officer there was just performed in such a heroic way. If you ever get a chance to look a little more at that incident, she literally saved her partner. Match the description or not?
For disorderly, unknown address in the area.
No, it does not.
For yelling heard outside, the fight is about to break out. About 2 to 3 houses southwest of our caller's address, which is 3020 Old Highway 8.
It's a Mounds View call. In general, there's a lot of little anger and people not being so happy lately. Is that a fair statement, do you think?
I think that would sum up a lot of circumstances right now.
For disorderly at the Hog's Breath, 2504 Rice Street, Birmingham, refusing to leave. He's been in the lot for the
I'm going to clear this call, Pat, if you want to make sure your volume's down there.
It is off. It is off.
722.
2400, you can mark the Ordway call. GOA, we talk to the comp and check the area, and the troubled party is departed.
Everything you GOA is 1122.
So, I did want to say, well, I want to draw your attention to one thing in case you haven't had. There was a meeting of the Minneapolis City Council yesterday, and it's a 2-hour video. It's available on YouTube, Minneapolis City Council Workshop with yesterday's date.
Park Security 570.
If you find yourself having available time, you have to watch that meeting. You know, I have been at this for a while, 43 years. I have to say that was the strangest meeting I've ever watched. Have you seen any of it?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
There were stories in both newspapers and online and about the meeting. And I'm going to cut some clips out from some of the comments there and post them tomorrow before we go on live Friday. Because this is an important discussion. The reason it was strange, and you read in the NPR story, the question, the city council members, the same city council members that wanted to disband the police, are now getting calls from their citizenry, their constituents, and they're demanding the chief to tell them, where are the police? So you can imagine how, what a strange conversation that was to have the advocates for dismantling the police and defunding the police now demanding that they get more police service.
It's somewhat ironic.
Well, it's more than ironic. I mean, yes, it's ironic, but I just think it's, you know, what's happened, and you're going to see if you watch those videos. The council members do an awesome job of articulating their crime problem.
They sure do.
And one of them, the vice president, talks about an exclusionary zone in South Minneapolis where the police are not allowed in, and states that organized crime is starting to extort money from people in order to get out of their alleys.
Isn't that something?
So if we end up turning over parts of Minneapolis to organized crime, and in most cases that's really the code word for what really is going on is gangs. If we end up turning over parts of the city to organized crime and the cops aren't in there, in fact, they're barricading some of the streets with cars so the police can't get in, and even the medics in some cases. And so you have to watch, if you get a chance, watch that video, or at least the clips that we'll post here. But this is an important public policy discussion, because we, on our side of the river in Ramsey County, we're not going to allow that to deteriorate to that point.
No way.
And, you know, this crime has increased here as well, but there's a difference between increasing crime and an inability to police altogether. So,
absolutely.
I think it'll be the most interesting 2 hours of video if you get a chance to watch it. But if you don't, like I said, we'll post some 2 to 3 minute clips of some of the conversation that'll lay out. So today's going to be city government day.
You know, I'd like to mention a couple other things you should look up, you know, on Facebook, in the news. An amazing woman, in my opinion, who's a former Minneapolis police officer who lives in Minneapolis and does some amazing things for the community, is Lisa Clemons.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mother's Love, right? Mother's Love?
Yes.
Yep.
I would urge looking up some of her looking up her Facebook page and looking up what's some of what she has to say. And there's also a video yesterday that the principal of North High School put out.
Amen. You gotta watch that.
50 to 60 principals of Minneapolis schools, both elementary, middle, and senior high schools, formed basically a human barrier around the scene of the 17-year-old North High School, or maybe it was Henry High School. I'm sorry if I don't have it right, but he was either a North or Henry student who was murdered in a convenience store parking lot. And these are some powerful words from the principal. I'd urge you to look it up.
Yeah. Oh, it was a classic. She's a hero in my mind, but she brought together all these principals and basically their message was, we want to partner with the police. We need the police. Right?
Absolutely.
We've always had a great partnership, and we need them now more than ever. The gathering was right where the 17-year-old was killed.
Correct.
Day before yesterday in Minneapolis. Night before yesterday. So, well, we're just trolling around downtown St. Paul, but we're going to go up the hill. I know those of you that were with us before were familiar with the encampment, homeless encampment. And you know I'm a big advocate for helping the homeless. I think there ought to be a coordinated strategy. That has some planning and leadership to it. And there are good people trying to solve the problem, but honestly, well, I've been at it for a year and a half now, attending meetings and listening to what's going on, and the problem is there's a lot of collaboration. That is, people meet, but not a lot of planning and leadership in terms of what the answer is. And so consequently, the city might have one strategy, the county might have another, and the state has a third, not to mention that probably the best organization to financially deal with would be the Metro Council, that can provide some resources here. But I have learned a little bit more about how things happen here. Those of you that have watched us before know that there were 50 tents in this remote area here off of Old Kellogg, down from the cathedral.
Eastbound 694 west of 35W for a man down Shea Patrolson Road.
So you can see ahead of us that the area that we used to visit that was relatively stable and secluded has now been moved or relocated. And if you go back and look at our earlier videos, you'll see that this whole area right along 35E is vacant now. And interestingly, what happened here was the city posted and gave everyone here 2 weeks notice to move. Now, of course, the city estimates there's 360 people that are unsheltered, homeless, and need a bed, but they don't have enough beds. So the county is working feverishly to find some more additional beds, but they've only been able to identify possibly another 100. You see St. Paul is checking this to make sure that people leave. How are you today, young man? Commander Ellison, you're live today. I don't know if you knew.
Hi,
that.
Commander.
We're just talking about the homeless issue, and I won't put you on the spot, but Commander Ellison is in charge of all of downtown, and it's his job to work with the mayor's office to figure out a long-term solution. And of course, some of that involves the county, some of it involves the state, and of course the business community. We're going to go over to the Kellogg Park. I got a call or some email from the people worried about the growth there. I don't know what your plan is or if the city has a plan, but they're worried about how it impacts the Intercontinental. I'm sure you've heard from them as well. And so then we got a call from the people on the east side up by Arlington and Phelan. It's not your district.
No, yeah, there was some movement that happened over there that wasn't that wasn't the plan.
Well, here's what I found out. I dug into it. You know, we got Whistler working the problem as well. Apparently, after the notice was given, some of the organizations that help the people here came in and, with the desire of helping them to relocate, knowing that there's no firm bed, relocated some of them to other locations. One of them was the East Side location. And, I mean, it was really news to me that they were assisting to relocate before the city relocated. So by the time you got here, some of them were already relocated. So, I mean, the long-term answer, Jeremy, is to really get some significant, stable indoor housing. And I don't know. I mean, I think the argument is who pays for that, right? I mean, city, county, state. And I think if we can, I don't know what we bought the building for the morgue. Well, the state bought a huge building for the morgue up at Kmart, right? Well, we ought to be able to find a structure of some sort for homelessness. So that's. But you got anything you want to add, or it's?
No, good to see you out here.
Yeah.
I think, like it's been a huge success with getting several people into some shelter stations.
Yeah.
And
You just need more.
right. Everybody was willing to do that in, so that was good.
What's the plan on Kellogg? I know that the desired place is Lower Landing, where they have some facilities, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there has been some discussions about Kellogg a little bit. I'm not sure what the
Yeah.
plan is yet.
Ultimately, it's up to the mayor's office. Is that?
Yep, Deputy Mayor's going to lead in charge of that stuff.
And she's done a really good job of educating herself. I give her credit. But the business community down here is ready for some improvement, right? And obviously, my concern, like it was last winter, we don't want people to die in the winter. We only had 20 tents last year at wintertime, and now we got 350 plus.
Yeah, I know it's gone down. Ricardo was mentioning today that the number is starting to go down.
Oh, good.
Which is great. But we got a lot of work to do.
And the fire station, you're hopefully going to open that up in November?
I'm not sure what the timeline is, but I know that's something that's considering as well.
Well, say goodbye to Icon Pat Scott before we go.
See you, Commander. Good to see you.
All right, Jeremy. Thank you. Bye. All right. Well, we're gonna stroll through Kellogg Park, but you kind of understand some of the dynamics and just of decision making that go on here. Wintertime sometimes has is a factor in sort of people going undercover a little bit, but
Yes, definitely.
and that's sometimes not a good thing to not know or be able to see where all the needs are, right?
Yep. It's nice to see Commander Ellison and Commander Molnar downtown here. They're a couple of amazing, caring men and officers.
Yeah, it's good to see a commander out on patrol anytime, right?
Absolutely.
So we're on Kellogg Boulevard, sort of eastbound. As soon as we do a sweep through here, we're going to head over to the east side.
I see a lot of comments from other parts of the country about our accents. Let it be crystal clear to everyone that Fargo is not in Minnesota.
You betcha. Hey, but one thing, I just want to say that it's pop, not soda.
I spent a little bit of time in Texas, and I started calling it soda after a while.
Yeah, pop, not soda.
Or Coke. Down there, every soda pop, every pop is Coke.
By the way, if you see some of these Snoopies, these peanut characters, Charles Schultz grew up here in Highland Park.
Yes,
The
he did.
originator of the Peanuts line, and Charlie Brown. And actually, we have one of our ice arenas is named after him in Highland Park. My grandmother, Marion Skoglund, was a friend of his.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it was when he first started, you know, that was a pretty amazing thing. But we all watched Charlie Brown Christmas, I think, every year.
Every year.
So another, and so the city years ago, the city made all these statues that businesses purchased, and they are all over town. And interesting. And actually, I mean, every city has a niche. When I traveled out west, we stopped in Rapid City. Rapid City had bronze statues of all the presidents.
Oh, really?
Pretty cool. Yeah, on different corners, every president with a unique characteristic of their time, and some expensive bronze statues. So here's the Intercontinental, and you know, just to be fair, I mean, one of the concerns here is as they open up their rentals for weddings. On the left here is the ballroom, and you know, their concern is looking out the ballroom window. They would prefer to have so you can see some of the tents that are immediately across the street here. How's it going?
How are you?
Good day. Nice weather today, huh?
Can't beat it.
What do you guys need? Anything? You know, I got an extra box of Twinkies. Anybody want them?
2267.
Where's my Twinkies? Somebody gave us a box of Twinkies. It's fresh. Yeah, come on over and get it. You can have it. Steaks? Well, steaks tomorrow. Get the barbecue out here, though, okay?
Medium rare, sir.
Yeah. We'll bring the meat. Is there a place to cook out here or not?
Man, we can go to your place with the good grill. No, they got a grill right now.
Do they?
They got a grill right there.
Oh, they're going right now.
You know, I'll tell you what, Friday we'll come by with some food.
Yeah.
What do you guys like?
Vegas can't be touched. Steaks, lobsters, stuff that our region would never have. Yeah.
Well, we'll do that, but Friday, what time? See, what's the last part? What'd you say?
Octopus and eggs.
Oh man,
A little bit of sushi.
halibut. I'm not. Some of the fish is a little fishy. I like halibut, walleye. You know. Have you ever seen? Hey, listen, my wife loves shrimp. Have you ever seen live shrimp?
Yeah, down south, yeah.
Well, once you see them, you don't want to eat them.
Don't want to eat it right.
Yeah, good for you.
Right, they bottle feed. Right.
Yeah.
I love shrimp.
Hey, Danny, how's it going? Alfredo sauce. Olive Garden, maybe, huh? Yeah. We'll check on you guys Friday. It might be a little later, though. All right.
Have a good one.
What's
Enjoy the weather while it
that
lasts.
hairdo there? What do you got going with that hairdo? That's unique.
Can I pull it off?
Come over. Hey, I want to see it a little. Stand up. I want to see it a little closer.
543.
It looks. That's a classic. See you guys. Hey, pass those Twinkies out so you don't know. Everybody gets one.
Sorry about that. Bravo 543. I'm going to be responding to 769
So-
University on a welfare check. The social workers and property
Anyhow, how many there's? I don't know. 20 tents there, and then
I don't have the exact address.
see. There's no facilities here at this location, so the city is trying to establish some facilities down on the lower landing, which is closer to the river.
Right.
No, that's okay. I should be fine. Just updating it.
You think we can get out here without bottoming out?
Oh, yeah.
So, for those of you that are just joining us on your lunch hour, we're live on patrol in St. Paul, Minnesota. My name is Bob Fletcher. I have the honor of serving as the sheriff in Ramsey County. And with me is Pat Scott, longtime St. Paul police officer and current analyst with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. Put many, many years on the street. Knows pretty much everyone.
Yeah, built a lot of relationships in 30 years working the streets of St. Paul.
I had a guy stop me. I was getting the windows washed up at the Holiday at 96th and Centerville today. A gentleman named Darren, I don't know if Darren's listening, but he was kind enough to pull over and he said, "Hey, thanks for what you guys are doing."
It's got a low battery signal.
Really?
It's plugged in all the way.
I don't think that's working too well. Well,
Do you have one of these?
1 second. Yes. Can you just text us? All right. So, how's it look there on our battery?
It doesn't show. I think this might be the... Should I try that to see if that's battery life?
Let's try switching cords.
Okay.
You can pull it out and see if that one's any better.
Okay, we're going to have to adjust this camera for a second.
Might feel a vibration if it works.
Can you generate a call for motor vehicle theft?
Well, if we lose you, we'll figure out the power problem and we'll be back with you.
Hopefully that'll settle the problem.
I do notice sometimes it low batteries, but it doesn't shut off.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times
Remember,
too.
just-
But we did have one night where we ended up losing the entire
we do
video.
have that call in pending. It's just no suspect info. A 2014 white Ford F-150 was parked on a one-way street headed eastbound was taken after the cop walked into the business.
Yeah, we just had an auto
Put
theft.
that to tell us if the desk officer said he had taken my phone. Thank you.
We're going to get the information. A car was just stolen downtown where we were
Copy, 145.
on Cedar. Most cars that are stolen downtown either head out west or head out east, and a majority of them out east. So,
They're eastbound that can break. Medics at 893 Westminster Street for an out-of-control female spreading Narcan kits in the yard.
Send me. This is assisted.
Copy, call to back 339.
so we're eastbound on 3rd Street. Actually, Kellogg out of the east side of St. Paul turns into 3rd Street. Thankfully, relatively quiet since we started at 11:11.
Gave us the 20% warning, so if it gives us the 10%
Do we have the info
warning,
on
maybe
what car was stolen?
I didn't catch the car description on that.
Yeah. We're northbound on Forest on the east side. Like a gas leak out here somewhere.
Yeah, it sure does.
Wonder some construction up ahead here. Definitely a gas leak. Well, I'm really amazed that car chose to drive through there in this. So
Looks like he's one of the construction guys.
White Ford F-150 2014, no plate. You guys smell the odor of gas, or?
Oh yeah, so we called the fire department. Everyone's been dispatched for the procedure today.
Yeah,
So we're abandoning the gas main from here all the way over to Atlantic.
What's the leak? Do we know? Is it a previous leak, or did you guys have
We're evacuating gas from a section of pipe, so it's all planned. This is
all-
planned, yeah.
It's a
This isn't, oh crap, this is all very planned.
Yeah, we can smell it from about 3 blocks up.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a planned vacation.
Yep.
And how much gas is in the pipe between here and now? I mean, is that a lot?
I wouldn't know like volume wise, but it's 8-inch pipe from here all the way to
Clear signs, they'll
Atlantic,
take
so that's
another
pretty large.
956 right.
Usually like in just regular neighborhoods, like 2-inch is what it is.
And where do you let it out? Right here, or
Right there is where we're blowing it down from. You might be able to see the big red stack, and then
Yep.
the one to the right of it, that's where it's coming out.
195.
and
Going to be out with Delta
How do
Zulu
you-
Charlie
how-
779.
how do you mitigate? I mean, obviously you're not smoking Winston's or anything, but how do you make sure nothing goes off? Just keeping people away? Is that?
Go
I mean,
off
that's
in what sense?
well. I mean, it's flammable at the source, right?
Right, but it disperses in open area enough to where it wouldn't. I mean, if someone's holding a lighter up there, that's not good. But
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it's
Well, the problem is when it leaks into a basement or something, right? And it stays
any
enclosed.
place where it can. It's got to be. You can't have it go even into like some type of hole. It's got to be up like I think like 6 to 10 feet out of the air.
Okay. Hey, one final thing: is natural gas heavier or lighter than normal air?
It's lighter in the sense that it will, because otherwise it would just come settle down.
So at your house, if it leaks, it won't go to the basement. I always heard
No,
it would go.
I mean it'll fill up the whole house.
Yeah, but I mean, it will go up and out. I mean, so if you open your windows up on the first floor, it will go out rather than having to. You're not an expert.
339 on scene.
I mean, maybe, but it's definitely something you wouldn't want to say, we'll just open windows and be okay. Definitely going to want to make a call.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate your work. Thank you. I was always curious what the best strategy would be. When I was younger, they were saying the gas was heavier than air, but I've since heard that that's not necessarily true. So we're in the alley. So that's a pretty long from Forest down to Atlantic. They're emptying out a pipe of gasoline, of natural gas.
Yeah, that's a long stretch from Forest to Atlantic.
Westminster, York.
Copy. Corner Westminster, New York with the female 1121.
Code 4 for medics.
Copy. Code 4 for medics 1121.
So we're looking for a stolen Ford pickup. F-150, 2014. Left eastbound from downtown.
Oh, by the way, that wild chicken and fish we were talking about a couple weeks ago,
You go there?
I went and got some chicken wings from there the other day. They were outstanding.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that you had a negative COVID test.
Yeah, me too.
Unless you've been told something I'm not aware of, you can cancel medics.
I didn't have any symptoms or anything, but I did know
Copy. Canceling
a
medics.
few people that I had some limited contact with who did come down with COVID.
I spend more time with you probably than anybody but my wife, so if I'm going to get it, it's going to come
I guess we'll have to quarantine together. I've got a spare room in the house.
There you go. I think I'd rather have it.
Gee, thanks.
Oh. smoking Camels by the end of that 10 days. Huh? Oh. So we're eastbound on 7th Street. Here at Mueller Funeral Home. Spent a number of funerals there. Some law enforcement, some community-based. Well, we got the suburban channels on as well, just so you know, so it's relatively quiet, beautiful day, nice weather like this, cool. As Mr. Rogers would say, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It sure is. I know you like it warmer. This is my kind of weather.
By the way, we were thinking about this, because let's face it, there are many, many more
I took your
good
911.
people, kind people
Phone number show the landline.
than what you see
Affirmative.
in the news. And so
Copy.
we
For the
want to
Shalom Home.
start honoring some of the kind acts of kindness, acts of goodness. And so what we want you to do is either post in the comments or text us to that number we gave out before, 651-448-3810, 651-448-3810, or post in the comments a short description of an act of kindness from one of your neighbors. And we're going to start going through those and talking about these acts of kindness. We don't have to give their last name on the air, but we do want to give them a little reward, whether it's a pizza delivered to their house or some recognition from the sheriff's office about, being appreciated by your neighbors. Let's talk about some good things. Let's catch people doing some things good, kind, nice. And so we're going to announce this on Friday night too, but let's start right now. If you know someone that's special and is always trying to help people, I mean, let's face it, Ken and Heather putting hours into those mats. That's from over on Marion Street. That's a great example.
That's amazing.
But there are other people out there on a daily basis that are just trying to improve our community. And it just seems like we don't give them enough recognition. Hey, if it's a St. Paul cop that you know is doing a wonderful job, send us a message. We want to, sometimes we have 2,000 live viewers and one time to 80,000 views. This is a chance to recognize them and get some public notoriety. There's a St. Paul Police Parking Enforcement Officer pulling alongside of us right now. So, acts of kindness, acts of goodness. A lot of pending calls, some of them are so old that these street cops been, one of the things in that Minneapolis City Council meeting that you'll see is that the city council members were getting calls from the residents about why the cops took so long, and the cops were telling them, we're just very busy. We have a lot of pending calls. We don't get to do proactive work because we're going from call to call. And some of the city council members were suggesting that they didn't believe that. And I just want you to know that I'm on the CAD, the computer-aided dispatch, every day, and it's true. There's just calls stacked up because there aren't enough officers to handle the calls. And they do the best job they can going from call to call. But the proactive work that you see, or you want to see in terms of people stopping and talking and building relationships, there's not time to do that.
That's happening with the suburban agencies too.
Yeah.
And with the deputies controlling the unincorporated towns. It's getting busier. And it's hard to keep up. And we've got some amazing deputies, amazing suburban officers, amazing St. Paul officers. And really, my My hat is off to them all.
We were just northbound on White Bear, and we're turning westbound on Maryland.
698.
You know, I mentioned before at some point we're going to start
Please show me out at 11:51.
throwing the camera on when other times when there is a chase or something. We had a chase day before yesterday out to Anoka of a stolen car with a man that was believed to have a gun. And several agencies participated, and the car was actually, and the driver fled in Anoka, right by the river actually. He started in Forest and Rose in St. Paul. Several agencies were part of it and then dropped out. But turned out the woman in the car that was arrested, she had 2 charges for aggravated robbery with a gun. I spoke to her. I was there in Anoka when they caught him. She had 2 charges for aggravated robbery and a gun up in the Columbia Heights, Fridley area. She was a heroin addict. And, you know, I talked to her because, of course, my son had that addiction and tried to, you know, relate to her. But she was robbing people at gunpoint in order to support her heroin addiction. And, I mean, you don't run into a woman that's robbing places with a gun very often, right?
No, but definitely seeing more of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Desperation. So, and the guy was had the lengthy history as well. He had stolen I guess they call them dualies. It was a truck with dual wheels or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dualies. I forgot. I didn't really know that term myself, but so that was quite the chase, but it ended successfully, and there was a witness there that identified the driver. You know, we always need witnesses to identify who's driving and who's not in those situations. So parties are charged with auto theft and fleeing police in a motor vehicle.
Bravo 543.
But the reason they were in St. Paul, they really weren't from St. Paul. The reason they were in St. Paul because they come into the city to purchase their drugs.
Ah, okay.
So, and that's true, more true even in Minneapolis. A lot of the heroin sales take place in downtown Minneapolis. We're westbound on Maryland again here, coming up on Roosevelt Homes. Did you get that information from Joe? I didn't really. See something?
Just BMW, no plates, silver.
Yeah, there was a big.
241 in a downtown squad to assist. 51 West 7th Street, Assumption Church. Staff reporting a female outside screaming about the Antichrist, refusing to leave. Light-skinned black female, 28 years old, 5'7", heavy build, wearing a purple sweater and black pants.
680. 521, we'll grab that.
680.
A lot of mental health issues there. I'm not saying the Antichrist couldn't be around, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of mental health issues. You heard the woman at Assumption Church screaming about the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So it's just so much of our work now is mental health related. Usually mental health / self medicated through some form of addiction.
Great, guys. You can go ahead and clear.
And there was just a hit-and-run accident at Rice and Arlington. Suspect vehicle last seen eastbound Arlington. A white vehicle with the plate of 264
866, copy.
Lima X-ray Yankee.
I wonder if it could have been a white pickup.
I wonder. 264 Lima X-ray Yankee.
Well, we should head down to where Arlington comes in there by Edgerton, huh? See if it comes to the east side.
Sure.
Could you put us off the mall, 1595 Highway 36 West?
If it left eastbound, odds are it's going to cross the freeway, right?
You'd think so. Just had another hit and run at 7th and Kitson, a gray Chevy Lumina.
Post number 2515.
698.
So it's one of the things that was talked about on city council meeting yesterday, the amount of lawlessness when it comes to traffic. I mean, speeding, H&R, it's just people blowing red lights.
Copy. Confirming here, code 4.
It's all related.
Go for it.
Told you.
That was a Chevy pickup.
Davis, Minnesota.
I'm getting good at knowing Chevys from Fords.
I'm proud of you.
Westbound on Maryland.
Wonder what kind of vehicle that white one is, that 264 Lima X-Ray Yankee.
Yeah, we'll have to have somebody run that for us.
253.
264 Lima X-Ray Yankee.
253.
Nope.
Comes way to the Holiday parking lot near 7th and Kitson on an accident, hit and run. Was hit by a gray Chevy Lumina that continued westbound on 7th.
So the one on West 7th was a gray Lumina. Different plate than the one up there, of course.
1203.
(2340) Terrace Northwest for vicious parking complaint for a vehicle that's not known to the neighborhood that's been parked there all day. Delta Zulu Echo 425, it's a white Buick.
Volkswagen with no plates.
1204.
We're quiet, it's because we're scanning the plates coming our way. It's one of the reasons that we appreciate Minnesota law requiring a front plate. There are a lot of states that don't require a front plate. That's really a detriment to law enforcement because
Phone call and harassment.
after a couple of years, you get pretty good at reading the front plate when they're going by, even sometimes at 50, 60 miles an hour. And a lot of stolen's been discovered by just driving down the street. Some squads do have license plate readers or LPRs. We don't, but someday, maybe if they get a small enough visual reader, we should get one, Pat. You know?
Yeah, that'd be nice. We are looking for a white Pontiac Grand Am. A 2005 white Pontiac Grand Am.
That was involved in the H&R.
Correct. Yeah, I don't have the ability so much anymore, but when I was still working, if I was off duty and on a road trip, I would remember license plates that I saw on the road trip for days.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, we used to try to make words out of some of the plates. I wish the letters would be grouped so you could use a word.
Right.
818.
We get a West Squad to assist us. We're at 1384 Coach Road. I just need a back seat, please. 150.
Copy.
Coming up on Payne Avenue here, westbound on
6-3.
Maryland.
Tell me that's him, please.
Copy.
What do you think? Hang here, go down Payne or what?
Yeah, I think so.
There's
There's been enough time this past
She
to
wants to
be
move it, but she won't let me.
past here by now.
We will be later than work.
There's call that can break and start to 151 Hancock Street for 698.
303 and 304.
Well, we're southbound on Payne from Maryland.
It's a 510 PPV.
510.
Fourth and Sibley, code 4.
4th and Sibley, 12.
Sending, thank you.
1206.
Magnolia's Restaurant here, long-time St. Paul institution.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history over here on the east side of St. Paul. Payne and Arcade neighborhood. I think we've talked about all the previous businesses there over on Arcade, Whirlpool, and others. This is the Salvation Army. They do an awesome job of helping people. They're handing out food today. obviously since COVID, the shortage of food and shortage of jobs, it's affected the economy. And thank you to the Salvation Army for their daily efforts. If you haven't been over here, there's a couple restaurants that we do frequent. Brunson's here at the corner of Case and Payne is one. We love that Brunson's restaurant. What's that restaurant you and Tommy go to here? The Thai one, or the?
We go to the restaurant inside Plaza Latina here.
Plaza Latina. That's great too.
253 clear.
Ward 6 reopened down here, right? What's the
253 copy.
East Side Bar, I believe it's
East
called
Side
now.
Bar? Another great restaurant to visit on the east side.
That's totally. I'm seeing that totally.
We're rolling up on that. It's the East Side Bar, ESB, right here at 858 North Payne. Reopened as well. I'm going to slide one block over to Edgerton. A lot of suspects know that Edgerton is a little less patrolled than Payne Avenue. It's a good slip-through route. Plus, it goes down over the railroad tracks.
Like Cayuga always was when we were with St. Paul. If you were a Rice Streeter and you pulled a crime on the east side, get back home on Cayuga and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, we're careful not to repeat ourselves too many times. About,
521.
you know, how many different activities we've seen. You know,
Please
feel free to watch some of the previous live shows just to get caught up on the Wilder Playground here at Case and Edgerton.
Channel 2 and he's covered the lockout tool that can assist.
A lot of history here. All right, 622 Beaumont. The male is standing, stalking comp. Oh, somebody doesn't like the fact that
Checking channel 2 and squad have a lockout tool.
Sorry about that. Our apologies. We'll go down to Beaumont, huh?
Yeah.
You want to read that call for us?
Yep.
521 negative.
It's in pending. There's a pending call over here.
622 Beaumont Street. It's coded a disorderly conduct. Male by the name of Drew is standing in front of the address. Reportedly is stalking the complainant, and he may have a Washington County warrant for assault. That's Drew Bauer, B-A-U-E-R. B as in boy, A-U-E-R, Joe or Chloe.
Is there a call on Coach Road? Negative, I'm sorry.
818 is out there requesting a backseat.
521 Bravo 446 is in house.
Please?
I don't think that's been dispatched yet, right?
Oh,
No,
perfect,
it's
thank
pending.
you. 144, you can cancel 58.
158, you're clear.
So it's not too far from us. We're going to run down there. Kind of borders the Sweet Hollow, and for those of you that are familiar with Sweet Hollow, you know the history of an immigrant community, that Polish, Swede, Germans that moved to St. Paul and lived down by the creek in small shanties until they could get jobs and get a little finances underneath them, and then move up in the world.
195, we're clear.
Okay, Drew is supposed to be 6 foot, 180 pounds, t-shirt and jeans. He was dropped off at the address. I believe he's there to visit a female who is living on the complainant's couch.
Yeah, here's the problem. We don't really know if the female is in favor or not in favor. Let me just see where we're going here. Of us arresting him. So that's the problem. We gotta be careful in terms of
See what kind of warrant this is.
we always like to get a little bit of more information before we assume anything. So I think it's right around the corner here.
Report.
But
5-5 again.
for sure.
Oh,
824.
my bad.
I'm out at
I think it's right over here.
1384 Coach Road. Can somebody create a call for that yet?
That's probably him. on the
Affirm, I just
porch
put you
there.
on it.
Looks like we're close.
Thank you.
Yep,
My long number is
looks like that's the
15290.
address.
How's it going?
Hi.
Did you call?
Is he here now?
I just chased him off down that way. This is the paperwork for what he did to her. Sheriff, how you doing?
Good, how are you? What's
All
your
right.
name?
Mike Grealish.
Mike. Oh, yeah. How are you?
All right.
Nice
Okay,
to
this
see
is
you.
actually Drey, D-R-E-Y, Robert Bauer.
Take a picture of
He's
that.
31 years
Yeah.
old. He's a lot younger than me, but I chased him off.
And how are you related to the victim here? Or?
She's left over from a guy that used to live here. I let her keep some stuff here. There's a picture of him.
Oh, you're the landlord?
Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta
You
let
can
me
clear
take a
this
picture of
one,
that.
I'm in the area of that recovered property. 7750 Auto Avenue.
But she was talking about getting an order of protection, but I think she calls him all the time even still. But
That's what we were.
there's a warrant out for her, too.
You think you're pretty sure there's a warrant for him? Drey?
I'm not sure, but I didn't.
Drey, D-R-E-Y, Robert Bauer. All right.
I just retired from Pepsi, so.
Oh, okay.
And I got people upstairs, too, that haven't paid rent in 6 months, and you can't kick them out. There's Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
What's Jamie's last name?
Fernholes.
So-
She's got one, too.
What does she want us to do? You know?
Well, I don't know if she wants to do anything, but I chased him away. If he's doing this stuff, he texts me. You see all the texts. He's constantly texting me and asking me where she is and what. I know. I
Okay.
don't.
We're going to go
fine.
look for him. We got the picture now. Thank
Okay.
you.
What color T-shirt is it?
I'm not sure.
And
Okay.
but the St. Paul squad is probably going to show up here too,
Okay.
because we're roaming around handling the pending calls. Your call hasn't actually been dispatched yet.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw it in the pending queue. So you still living over here on the east side, or?
This is my house right here.
Oh, it is.
Yep. I've been here 20 years. Well, I was born at Metro State University.
Yeah.
So
Good to see you.
when I was
Who
born,
are the other Graylishes that I grew up with over there in Maplewood?
yeah, there's a Jim Grealish.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is my brother.
Is he? How old is
He
he?
just retired from Northwest Airlines. He's 60.
Yeah.
I'm 62.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will go look for that guy first, so we're not wasting any time.
Good.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Looks like he has a felony warrant.
All right. Hey, when the St. Paul car comes by, tell him we think he has a felony warrant.
en route to LEC 1.
So I shoot him off. He's a white male. What's he wearing? We're not sure.
No, just white T-shirt. I mean, a T-shirt. He doesn't know what color, and jeans. 6 foot, 180, I believe it said.
I guess in the parking lot in the Subaru.
I don't know where he'd go if he didn't have a place to go. Right?
Right. Somebody dropped him off,
So he might
so
have.
he's probably somewhere calling for a ride.
Or walking down to the Super America.
Very possible.
Some people don't like slow drivers. I suppose if he's familiar with this area, he probably could have gone down into the hollows, right?
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do if I wanted to avoid police contact. Well, let's just drive down, Payne down to Kitson, and then we'll drive back up. If he's just walking speedily, he might be down here. And we'll drive back up and see if check some of the other spots. place is just to hang out, right?
Yep.
683. 683.
Clear report with 693. I can see the parking on Daly.
So we're looking for, you got a good picture, so you'll spot them, you think?
I think so.
Just make a quick swing through here. Probably be tough. It's hard to tell how long he's been gone, but probably be tough to get here this fast, huh? If he hasn't been gone that long. We're at the Holiday on 7th and Kitson.
There's one picture of him.
Okay.
And then
you want to run in and make a quick sweep through there just to say we
Sure.
checked it? Here's an extra mask for you.
I got one right.
Okay.
693.
I've got my county mask.
Okay, very good. Then we'll pop out. We'll pop up.
Can you show me out a 299 MN for an abandoned vehicle forward?
We'll go into Sweet Hollow then, real quick. Check them out there. So we're just going to check at the Holiday here. I don't think he'll be returning to that address, but we can best resolve the problem by we got a little bit of a issue with our power supply here today. Well, I don't know how much longer this one's going to last, but I'm going to move that one over here. I know this has worked.
Squad 254. 254. Can you call my comp back and see if they are still in the parking lot or if they can come back to the parking lot? Happy.
Well, I hope the length of time that he's been in there doesn't mean that he's found them. He could be getting a cheese dog. How's it going, gentlemen? You made me nervous you were in there so long.
333.
We're gonna have to make a.
I moved this power cord over here.
Squad to back, disorderly conduct, 622 Beaumont Street, the lower unit. There's a male outside stalking the comp. Say Drew Bauer, white male in his 30s, wearing a t-shirt and jeans.
Well, that's the call.
Yeah. Let him know it's Dre.
357, I copy your
Dre, and he's got a felony warrant.
You should go ahead and do it. You get on there. They love your voice. And just tell him he's departed.
2400.
2400.
Hang on a second. I might have been in the wrong channel.
2400, I think I was on the wrong channel. That Beaumont call, that party's first name is actually Dre. D as in dog, R-E-Y. And he has a felony warrant out of Washington County. And we stopped by there. He's GOA at this time.
Westbound.
And he was last seen westbound from the address. The caller would still like to see a squad.
2400, I copy. The suspect is the first name of Dre. Does have a felony out of Washco, but is GOA. I'll have my squad still speak with the comp until 22.
Perfect. So now we're entering Sweet Hollow. If I was him and I needed to avoid detection, get off the street,
35764.
we'd go back into Sweet Hollow. My venture to say most of you have never been down here. I don't. It's absolutely a beautiful place in the summertime, but so remote that you probably don't want to come down here after dark. But just a gorgeous, gorgeous bicycle trip, part of a bicycle ride. So we're gonna look for Dre down here, hiding, waiting for a ride. Not normally traveled through vehicles, however, we know the paths, so we just pop in, make sure people are safe. Swede Hollow originally because some of the Swedes were the first immigrants to come to this neighborhood.
Used to be a community of homes down here for many, many years.
And it's a place to get started back historically. There used to be running water. There was a river down here, basically.
824, that's CN will be 196.
Historically, a creek that came from Lake Phalen, from the south end of Lake Phalen. And some of it was spring fed. Of course, you know, the Hams Brewery was at the north end here, and they did some beer processing with the Land of Sky Blue Waters. Some of it was directly from the wells of the aquifer below us, but some of it was from Lake Phalen. Used to be Phalen Creek. So here's a gentleman here. It doesn't look like our party, but a lot of people hike down here just for the beauty of it.
You know, why don't I ask him if he's seen anyone?
Good idea. He might be watching. I don't know.
Hi.
How's it
Sir,
going?
we're with the Sheriff's Department. Have you seen a man down here besides yourself in the last few minutes?
One was walking a dog.
Oh, he was walking a dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
If you should happen to see this man who is wanted for an assault on a woman, we would appreciate a call. He's about 6 foot tall and 180 pounds.
He was right up here on Beaumont at the end there, and then he fled. So we just thought this is a possibility.
No, this is a young man. He had a dog on a leash and dark closed shorts. And
okay. Well, if you should see this man, we'd appreciate a call.
Beautiful down here, huh?
It is beautiful.
But you were on your phone. We saw you on your phone instead of enjoying it.
I'm writing a note to my sister about meeting our great aunt in early 1960s, I think. She was a pioneer, and I'm telling my sister this is the most authentic little house on the prairie experience I ever had.
Where was that at?
It was in Russell, South Dakota, northeastern corner.
Yep.
And this little old lady who was born in the 1880s and had a wood stove, wood floor, little rocking chair. I mean, you can just picture it almost.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was real.
That is very cool.
I had relatives similar to that migrated to Murdoch, Minnesota. And
what part of town? What part of the state is that?
Well, it's west. It's about halfway probably to the border.
Okay.
You know, and they used to come and visit, but I did go there and see the burial grounds where they were buried in the churches, and just a fascinating history like you, people that came in the late 1800s and established farms and tried to make a living in small houses. And then I went to the library there and did some research on the family trees, because they got all that stuff in those little libraries of who was where, and you know, pretty interesting. You know, you don't think about your history till you're a little older.
Where did they immigrate from?
Sweden. You know.
Do you know where in Sweden?
I do, but I don't know off the top of my head. But what's interesting is that their family name was Larson. There were so many Larsons that were migrating here that my great-grandfather changed his name to Skoglund because there was too many Larsons. So that's a true story. I didn't know. So my grandfather was a Skoglund, and that's my mom's maiden name. But as I researched it, he was actually Larson when they came here.
You know, before they came, they changed it every generation.
Yeah.
Larson was the son of Lars.
Yeah.
Who could have been Lars
23 at LEC.
Swenson, son of Swen.
Right.
So
depending on the name.
Yeah, it changed every generation, and it's amazing to me that since my family came here, it's been the same for 6 generations.
Oh,
wow.
That's good, I think.
I don't know.
Thanks for visiting.
I'll keep it out for you guys.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Have a good day.
Thank you. So as you can tell, beautiful but remote spot down here. There's a biker coming through. Feel free on your bike route to check this out. I usually try to get out that way through that tunnel.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good idea. We'll see. In the wintertime it gets a little tough. We get stuck in the tunnel, but the tunnel comes right out by Beaumont, where the gentleman was. There's another path that goes down the other side of the creek here as well. And if we get stuck, it'll be good live TV. If you see this tunnel right ahead of us, I don't know if we got to pull our mirrors in or not, Pat. Here we go.
Send someone with a big shoehorn if we freeze up here.
There needs to contact the start for 350 Terranium to sign off on a tow sheet for.
Oh, you got this.
There we go.
Bam.
And we're right back where the house was. There's our house right there. 622. We just came out of Sweet Hollow. Well, we haven't seen him yet. Well, we'll keep looking.
I'm gonna chill on the porch.
Yeah, if you get a tip, call 911. Thank you.
254.
Isn't it amazing how that little shortcut there?
There's this GOA.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Squad's gonna be here. I don't think they've been here yet, right?
Doesn't sound like it.
4490 clear.
Heavy push for 90.
Seen by Urussos. Cook here is a friend of mine. I'm sure you've come across him a few times, but
Vehicle lockout 2155 Mountain View Boulevard.
it lives right here in this house behind it.
Oh, that's convenient.
Well, be thankful, I guess, that it's slower during the day than at nighttime. That's why you like to get these calls dispatched. That pending call had been pending for a while. If we would have got a chance to. Michelle, if you're listening, driving by your house, certainly your husband's working, but if you're in there, come on out. We'll say hi. Got a 15-second delay sometimes here, so.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe 296 in the area.
So just a reminder, if here, as long as we're slow, Pat, why don't you take a look at these texts? Not too many. Remember, if you want to text us, we don't answer the phone, but if you want to text us 651-448-3810, 651-448-3810. Try to answer your questions.
Freeway Auto Body at 229 North Snelling is a fan of the show. And if
Thank you.
we get by there, we will certainly try to make a drive-by.
What's the address? 229?
229
Right there by 94?
North Snelling. Yeah, Brandon Fuhrer is calling from there.
Thanks, Brandon.
5286.
5286.
For welfare check 2345 Woodbridge, Department 125, checking on a 36-year-old tenant who is late on paying his rent, and they're unable to make contact. Officers were out yesterday, cleared at SNR.
What's your favorite thing about being a sheriff? Is it getting out in the community?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, the thing I missed the most when I was off for 4 years was this very thing we're doing right now. Just getting out, patrolling. I'm sure it's the same for you.
Always the best part of the job, just being out amongst people.
Yeah. And, I had a lot of great opportunities, investigations. Patrol was always my favorite, but working sex crimes for a couple years, homicide for a shorter period of time, but working sexual assaults, young children being abused. I mean, those were rewarding cases, but some of the toughest times,
That would be gut-wrenching work.
Probably the most pure enjoyment was commanding the burglary unit and being able to go out and actually do proactive things. Maybe that's our guy there, no? Do some proactive police work on career burglars, and take a team of burglary investigators and use informants, search warrants.
Your team cleared a lot of burglaries during your time there.
Yeah, that was a good time to. If you're proactive on the career burglars, you can solve a lot of crime. And we were able in a 2-year period to drop the burglary rate by 25% in the late 80s, but then we had the resources. Nowadays they're handling so many cases, it's tough to be proactive and go out and develop sources, do search warrants, and there's a limited number of people committing a large amount of crime.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And if you target the career criminals, and that really was, in fact, that came up in the Minneapolis City Council meeting yesterday too. Yeah, we don't want first-time offenders being prosecuted, but we want the career offenders targeted. And so even the most tolerant and liberal elected officials realize that some people need to be prosecuted. And if we can come to agreement on that, we got to start, right?
We sure do.
I do want to say, though, that as we head into the fall, for those of you that are listening, evening burglaries are going to increase. And the reason is that criminals like to operate under the cover of darkness. And burglars know that the sun sets at 7:25 now. And if your house has all of its lights off at 8 o'clock, it means you're not home. And eventually the sun is going to set.
Derby's contact and break for shots fired. Westminster and Arlington heard just to the north. Single caller at this time. 6 shots heard.
Well, we're going to run up on that.
We're fairly close, probably a half a mile.
We got shots fired. Because there's a delay, we have to look for cars that are leaving the scene. So Westminster and Arlington? Is that
Yes.
Just north of that?
Correct.
So we are northbound on Payne. And we are going to get to Arlington, and we're going to go westbound. This is another example of how ShotSpotter would be so helpful. We saw a car just cross here, We would have loved to be able to check that car because that's our instinct tells us the timing could be that they're that far east. But when you're the closest one, you have an obligation to get there in case someone has been shot. So now we're evaluating every car. I mean, there's a party that
353 Victor Delta Lima.
there you go.
353 Victor Delta
He
Lima.
looked a little nervous when he was coming by. This guy with the ladder, probably not a prime suspect on his truck. Sometimes people do go up on the Gateway Trail and fire shots, since the Gateway Trail is right up here as well. There's a squad that's already here. Right ahead of us, so now we're going to tour
693.
tour the area, listen for shots, look for victims.
693. Okay. And can you show me out at Edmund and Farrington for a breaking complaint?
So the squad went north on Westminster. We're going to let him go there. We're going to see if we can get access to the trail, which might be a little difficult because we got squads here. Going to be probably next to impossible. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we can. Oh, there we
This
go.
guy's going to move for us. We're going to hit the trail. You guys hear any shots?
No, I did. Sorry.
You didn't?
I was on the vibrator.
Huh?
He did. He said over there.
Who did?
This guy?
Hugo did
I
it.
didn't hear it though.
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
talk to him.
Yeah, 339.
339.
Not seeing anything yet. There's
What'd you
all
hear?
kinds of construction going
Did you hear
on
some
here.
shots?
Wondering if that might be related.
That guy said you heard some shots.
Nothing seen in
Over
the
there?
area yet.
All right. How long ago?
Construction in the area.
10 minutes ago.
All right, we'll go check it. Thank you. All right, we're going to drive down the trail just because a lot of these... You okay if we drive down the trail?
268.
Is there any spot that can break and start towards an accident with injuries at White Bear in Iowa?
I'm going to hit the trail.
There's a 6-month-old with those injuries.
Yeah, 10 minutes ago, though.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, Todd.
Hey, guys, can we drive? We're going to go up that trail. I don't want to drive on your new asphalt.
It's going to be GOA, I guess, and I can start.
Copy, squad to back 347.
So we are on the state trail.
This is going to be GOA.
Northbound on the Gateway Trail from
And
Arlington.
303, do you copy this injury for 6-month-old?
Affirmative.
Go first.
347 to the other squad. Be aware I'm a ways out, coming from Central.
Now, he said the shots came
Yep.
from north of here.
Hold on. Okay.
Trails are a little bit troublesome. You know, Joe Bergeron got shot and killed on a trail that intersects with this just up ahead of us. And in that case, of course, it was some armed carjackers that had fled. But
We're in the area of the shots fired.
you're limited in terms of your maneuverability. So
Yes.
if someone jumps out of the woods, you gotta be a little cautious. There's a stairwell down to Westminster there.
Voice page, Walgreens for trespass female who's done. I'm familiar with her.
But again, a beautiful place to bike.
Copy.
Squads are going to an accident with injuries there. Is that what that was?
Yeah, on White Bear, I believe.
Anyhow, back to the burglaries. Just so you know, as it gets darker earlier, burglars know that if your lights are off and you're not home at 6, 7 o'clock, what they'll do is they'll look for 3 houses that have darkness and no lights on in a row, and they hit the middle one because they know there's no neighbors home either. And that's an evening burglar. It's very prominent in the months leading up to Christmas, October, November. Not to mention robberies increase as well. Oh yeah, Mr. David Hobbs was around. He was actually a nighttime midnight burglar. He would break into your house while you're sleeping, Mr. Hobbs. And of course there are daytime burglars that come in while you're working. Very prevalent there. But you got your daytime burglar, you got your evening burglar, and I mentioned the evening ones because we're going to see an increase in those. You got the midnight burglar. You have your garage burglar. Some burglars just break into garages and leave stuff in the alley and come back and pick them up. And then you have your commercial burglar. So really 5 different types of burglars. But I want to caution you to be thinking about leaving lights on in your house, or lights that come on at 6 o'clock because it gets dark really early. That will prevent you from becoming a primary target.
Yeah, the burglars who do homes that are occupied, the midnight burglars especially, have a pretty disturbing psychology and with their motivations, and are pretty dangerous people by and large.
This used to be a railroad tracks. I don't know if it was which one it was. I can't remember, but when I was little, it was a railroad here heading out to Maplewood. This path now actually goes out towards Stillwater, almost ends in Stillwater. It's biking and walking and jogging. But I think I mentioned we used to go on these tracks and put pennies on there and see if the cars would flatten them for us. And occasionally, how's it going? Occasionally we would jump on the boxcars, which wasn't very safe, but they were all open. Just ride them for a block. Don't recommend that to, how's it going? Don't recommend that to anybody nowadays. My mom was always worried that there were homeless people traveling on the boxcars. So there's no more further reports of shots fired, no victims identified, no casings recovered. So
Clear right.
That is probably the end of that. I think we're out on Edgerton, right? Is that?
I believe so.
So southbound on Edgerton from the State Trail, the Gateway Trail.
Which actually ended up putting us into Maplewood.
Yep.
Excuse me.
And if we followed that a little further, we'd end up coming up English and Frost, where the other trail, the Bruce Vento Trail, intersects it there at English and Frost. And that trail then goes down the east side of Lake Phelan. After you connect there, quite an amazing trail system in actuality. And that was where Joe Bergeron was killed. We're going to swing by that. We're taking a little shortcut over there rather than taking the trail.
Joe Bergeron was a Maplewood police sergeant who, as the sheriff was mentioning, was murdered by some carjackers in May of 2010. Actually, about 2 weeks before I retired.
1246.
So keep in mind, if you got some good neighbor stories,
There's some big wheels.
Yeah, people that you think deserve credit, please call us. We're northbound on Arcade right now.
Right?
I don't know. We'll go around Phelan to the north side. Normally we can enter here, but I don't really like Phelan. This is my old stomping grounds. My mother didn't live. Well, my mother still lives, but my family didn't grow up too far north of here. Right into Maplewood here. As I mentioned, I went to elementary school up here at Gladstone Elementary, up on Frost, and then to John Glenn Junior High School. I guess they call them the Jets now. We didn't have a mascot back then, junior high. They call them the John Glenn Jets. Because he was, of course, John Glenn was the first American to orbit the Earth in the Mercury missions.
Yes, indeed. Now they don't have fountain pops, but could you stop at Borchard's up here for a minute for me to grab a Mountain Dew? Would you like a bottled Mountain Dew?
You know, and I want to just say one thing. Okay, we're going to stop at Borchard's, but I want to ask our viewers if anybody remembers the original name of Borchard's. No, you can't guess, okay? Because it's changed names a couple times. But I went to school with the daughter of the original owner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so we'll see. By the way, is the barber shop still there?
Yeah, there's a barber. Open 1 day a week.
Yeah, I got my hair cut there when I was little, too. From Al.
I believe he's open Tuesdays only now.
I don't know that it's still open.
That's pretty nice.
Fleetcheck Field we just passed on the left there on Frost Avenue. Mr. Fleetcheck used to own a sporting goods store right here, and he built those fields for us. We all played baseball right there in those 3 fields. Pretty amazing. I bought my first gasoline when I was 16 years old right here at the northwest corner at the gas station. It was 22.9 back then on that day. I remember distinctly when my mother would send me up to buy groceries at Borchard's here. And I don't know, is anybody guessing? If it's Chloe, if you can see who's guessing. But my mother used to send me up to buy groceries when I got my driver's license. You know, when you first get your driver's license, you want to drive anywhere, do every errand you can.
Oh, of course.
And I do know that a loaf of Wonder Bread was 25 cents. I don't know what it is now, to be honest with you. Gotta be. We'll find out when you're in there.
I will. I'll
find out what the loaf. And you're gonna get us a pop and stuff.
Yeah. Would you like a?
Yeah. I'll get you whatever. Get a Mountain Dew if you don't mind. Okay.
Sure. In the bottle or can?
Either way, bottle's good.
Okay.
Whatever you get, and then.
Great market, by the way. Borchard's.
Yeah.
Great market.
Let me just see. No, somebody guessed Richards. It was Richards before, but that's not the original owner of this building. Keep guessing, and if you got his last name, you get double. So yeah, hey, get something to chew on too.
What's that?
It's like I can't have chips. Kind of my wife. Use your imagination.
I can break and start an alarm. 150 Mountain Boulevard, covering hallway motion.
Just gonna back up here, get a good view of.
3:30. Put ours back.
Get a good view of Maplewood Borchard's Market.
Read it, 1251.
Well, I don't see. I haven't heard any. Richards before it was Richard. Richard did buy it from another guy.
5284.
We'll be inside checking for the 125.
Copy.
So I'm just going to drive around because across the street, of course, was the liquor store.
We're clear, sis.
Still there.
Copy, 1251.
My dad used to cash in his empty beer bottles at the liquor store.
1252.
It's funny how you have those memories when you're younger. There used to be a little treadmill open door here to drop off your spare bottles. It's no longer there, but Mike's LP Gas is next door to Orchards, but Orchards Market was originally Rogers Superette. Rogers Superette was owned by Roger Crummell, who lived down the street here on Frost toward White Bear Avenue. He had a daughter, Kim Crummell, that was my age and attended North St. Paul with me. And John Glenn in North St. Paul, very, very nice person. And at her house, I watched the North St. Paul Polars in the state tournament back in 69 or 70, hockey tournament. They were leading Southwest 3-0.
Copy 4467.
They had an outstanding game going, and they ended up losing 4-3 in overtime to Southwest. Southwest went on to take the state tournament. One of the biggest comebacks ever in Minnesota State High School championship play. Very sad day for the Polars that day. We just got some calls in that haven't been dispatched. I'm just looking through some of the pendings. Over in the west sector, there's a pending call at 983 Hubbard.
5286.
5286.
Comp notices a bullet hole through her basement window. There's also a theft from auto.
5286.
Did she know you or what?
Oh yeah.
Check in the window.
I can't go hot,
Copy.
but
Yeah,
I stuck with the ham and cheese.
good.
Hey, David. You know Dave,
Yeah.
don't you?
Hey, Dave, how are you? Good to see you. I was just telling how this was originally Rogers Superette,
Superette,
then Richards later, and
There's a flyer inside the wall from Rogers from '68.
oh, there is.
They got the ad up.
Yeah,
Pat comes all the time. We're good buddies, so
that's great.
good to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you for appreciating us. We like to hear
This
that.
morning, I'm like, what's he doing on live today?
All right, take care. Anything you need from us?
No, just your support, and goes both ways.
Thank you. All right, God bless you.
Thanks, David.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Oh, nice man. Nice man.
Ah,
Really nice.
I love David and his wife.
Was that her that came out with the mask
Yes.
on? It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
339.
Great spot, safe spot.
339.
This is the heart of Maplewood. It originally was Gladstone.
Comments added.
Called the Gladstone neighborhood.
Copy.
This building on the right was the original police department, City Hall, Maplewood City Hall. The police department was in there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Chief Schaller, the first chief of Maplewood Police, is a wonderful man.
Johnson Parkway and 7th Street with Minnesota plate 098.
I think I mentioned before, but
Copy,
this
Johnson
is
Parkway.
where I went to kindergarten, right here at Gladstone Elementary on our left. Mrs. Johnson was my kindergarten teacher. Peggy Johnson, I think. And if I think pretty sure she's still alive. One of the most wonderful teachers. And by the way, thank God for great teachers. And I was very, very lucky to have a series of awesome teachers. And I just really appreciate it. I often thought about writing a book. Did you lose your cap there?
I sure
again?
did. Could you pull over a second? Sorry.
You know, emergency. You can't close up the Mountain Dew if we have a chase.
Yeah, I'll be wearing the Mountain Dew if I don't find this cap.
I think this water bottle, would suffice. It's unopened. Want to try this one?
Sure.
Close enough.
I got one here.
Okay. Yeah, we keep spare
Bravo 351.
pop bottle caps in the back in case we need one.
There's a spot nearby that can.
In case your klutzy partner drops his Mountain Dew.
357, 339 is out.
Was that a white one?
Take
Or?
that,
Try that one. Here, I'll take it off. Otherwise, we're down to hand sanitizer bottles. See if that one fits. I'm going to drink mine pretty fast anyhow.
no, that doesn't work. Let me dump that and use your cup holder.
Okay. Yeah, no problem there.
That'll work.
4467.
Okay, we're back in action.
So, relatively quiet out here in Maplewood. We're headed toward Joe Bergeron Memorial, I think, before we stop there. So, better do that and go back there.
The passenger took off on foot. He's going west now. The driver here's bleeding in the head. I don't know exactly what they were doing.
Copy that the passenger took off on foot westbound. Driver's bleeding from the head. Do you want me to start medics?
Where's that at?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Copy, and just confirming your status at this time.
I'm doing pretty good.
1259.
339 to 357 copy.
We gotta find out where's that at.
131.
131.
Dale with the count at 240 Fuller, and if you could change the location of the call to that address.
So about now, I mean, as we head into this afternoon, things will normally pick up, and we will definitely do some afternoon patrol. But for those of you that had a little time at lunch to watch us, we wanted you to see, you know, how it works with the camera, what we were really up to.
5284.
We're going to stay on here for another hour till 2:11.
5284.
But just wanted you to give you a flavor in
Paramedics for us.
case you want to tune in.
We haven't gotten a hold of them, but we can see them outside.
And it illustrates how, to those who have been watching it, right,
Copy, I'll have them staged at 1300.
how much busier the day shifts have got. There have been a lot of times when calls have been backed up and pending.
So to the left down Larpenteur, this is the border between Maplewood and St. Paul. It's Larpenteur. We're going to go on it here to the east. To the left is Our Redeemer Lutheran Church, which was where I went to church as a young person, was confirmed, and just a great church experience. Just remember, Larpenteur is the north border of St. Paul. It technically is County Road A. And then 1 mile north of County Road A is County Road B.
I was clear with the
And then 1 mile north of there is County Road C. Now as we head west on Larpenteur, I'm smiling. I really shouldn't be, but I've been involved in several chases in my career, and two of them involved chases that ended shortly up ahead.
At the lake.
Some criminals don't know their way around that well, and so when you're traveling in excess of 60, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and you come over this hill and suddenly you realize no more road. So this is a couple fleeing felons have gone over that edge and down the hill. And so that's one advantage that we know when we know where we're going. And I remember one north on White Bear Avenue. I was working with Dubrand, Remember New Brand?
Oh yeah.
And the old New Brand, there's a new New Brand, and we were chasing them up White Bear Avenue, and I was a young cop, and New Brand says to me, the car's going 100 up White Bear Avenue past Larpenter and County Road B. He says, slow down, kid. I said, okay, but why? He says, just slow down, back up. He's not going to make that turn. It used to be known as the Schwinn Shop turn, because there was a Schwinn Shop, bicycle shop, where the U-Haul is now there at White Bear and County Road B. And he was a Camaro, was driving a Camaro, and we lost sight of him, and sure enough, he didn't make the turn. He took out the gas pumps and the sign, the mobile sign there. He took it all out, and the car broke in half, and we pulled up 30 seconds later, and the car is just a shambles. And he's laying in there. Obviously, we brought medical assistance right away. But there's the advantage of an old wise guy that says, slow down, kid. We don't need to chase him. He's not going to make that turn.
Yep.
So, Phelan Lake. I lost track of why we're down. We want to go take a look at the Bergeron Memorial, right?
Yes, we do.
And I'm going to turn around, but we also want to take a look at, besides the Bergeron Memorial, I want to take a look at some of the homeless things that are here at Arlington. Yeah. Just kind of going to drive down that trail, but and talk about Tim Bradley, who organized this effort too here, because we should honor one of the finest officers that St. Paul ever worked with.
Tim organized the entire effort to get this memorial to Sergeant Joe Bergeron, dedicated, and this is it right here. This is now the Joe Bergeron Pass of Bruce Vento Regional Trail. Tim Bradley was just a long-time East Side police patrol officer. Spent many years working with Lucia Robleski. They did bike patrol. They walked the beat. They interacted with people in the best possible way.
Right up this trail is where Joe was killed when he came upon the suspects. But why don't you read that, just so we can read what's on there.
It's, at the very top is a replica of the Maplewood police badge with Sergeant Bergeron's badge number of 357. And it says, Sergeant Joseph Bergeron, Maplewood Police Department, gave the ultimate sacrifice on May 1st, 2010. With heartfelt gratitude, the community reclaims this earth as sacred ground to honor a peaceful warrior. Joe Bergeron Pass, Bruce Vento Regional Trail.
Wonderful man, beloved by many cops.
My eyes filled up a little bit just reading that and remembering that horrible day.
So, we just had a shots fired up at in Mounds View. Mounds View had a really significant increase in serious calls. I don't have a handle on why that is, but so we're obviously too far away from to go there, but just be aware of it. Now, this is a relatively new encampment here, so many of these, I shouldn't say many, some of these people came from the ones that were displaced down in St. Paul. This is St. Paul as well, but I'm going to talk to this young lady, see how she's doing. Chris, I'm not. How's everybody holding up? Good. Nice day out today, huh? It's all good. We just thought we'd check on you guys, make sure everybody's safe. Say, oh, are they? I don't know anything about that. Did they tell you they're going to cut the grass?
No. I was just wondering.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't think they'd make you move the tents to cut the grass.
If they need help, I'll find enough help around.
Yeah, we'll get you a lawnmower. You probably,
It'll work.
yeah. A trash can. There isn't one here.
Nope.
There's not even a trash can. I'll find that out. No. You know what? It's a great question. There should be a trash can. Obviously, it'd be nice if there was some sanitation, right? Has it been relatively safe here or not?
Yes, fine.
I mean, especially for women, you know, we
got the back.
Where did you come from? You were on Kellogg? How many here came from Kellogg? All, everybody? And well, right here's the deal. It wasn't our decision. We're with the county. I know the city was the one that. You can have a cigarette?
No, I'm gonna just take a look here.
Start for an in-progress domestic at 976 Arcade Street, apartment 1. Boyfriend is on scene, has a bat. You hear the male shouting in the
Parks?
background.
You do not like that? Well, not really, but I don't think the city. Cause you guys were somebody helped you move here, right? Some of the organizations.
Most likely, yes.
Radius or I don't know. I don't know how long the city will allow this one to occur, you know. But obviously, if it grows bigger, that's the problem, right? There's a woman named Teresa. Did she end up moving here? You know her from Kellogg? Huh?
Bravo 351, that was negative citywide for PBT.
Got everything for checking.
Okay. As good as before. How's winter going to be, though? Where would you go? Well, that's the thing. Where will everybody stay when it's 20 below? Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like there's a food drop-off happening.
Yeah. Well.
Neighbors like start shit around here, though.
Well, we'll be around checking on you guys regularly. Okay. All right. And I'll get the garbage can problem taken care of. Where do people put the garbage now?
Right now we got a camouflage tent. We putting it in.
We gotta fix that.
Yeah.
We gotta fix the garbage problem, huh?
Yeah, we were working on it. They said they were gonna bring something down for us.
Yeah. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
Travis?
Okay, I'll talk to Travis and tell him to get on that.
Yeah, because right now we have volunteers that are taking the garbage and bringing it.
Oh, you do? Good for you. Well, they should still have a can to put it in, right?
Yeah.
What did Travis say about the long term of this?
Yeah, this is going to be 21-8 Alpha.
Are you with Radius or who are you with? No. Oh, thank you.
God bless you.
God bless. All right. Well, so
she has got her car filled.
You understand the complexity of everything. What was your first name? Sarah. Nice to meet you. I'm Bob. This is Pat.
You guys going to be doing the patrols?
Well, we're out here a couple days a week, but we're not the primary. We just are concerned and care. You know what I mean? Thank you. I'm not gonna run anything over here, am I?
Nope.
So obviously this is the conundrum of moving people off of Kellogg. As you saw there, people were from Kellogg and 35, which in my estimation probably had less impact on the rest of the city than this. So other people apparently helping or not?
I don't know what that situation is.
Copy. The mail is now outside of the address and pounding on the door.
So that's at English and Arlington, across the street from to Bergeron Memorial. Is our video still working over there?
Yes, it is.
Patrick?
Focus tap.
32, 40-year-old male, 6-foot average, built wearing gray sweater and khaki pants.
Lake Phelan is one of the more pristine, beautiful lakes in the Twin Cities, in large part because no motorized boats are allowed.
Right.
Occasionally you will see a DNR boat or a sheriff's boat out there. They do allow small electric motors, not to exceed 10 horse, to be out there. If you want to bring a little electric trolling motor. But I've done that myself when my son was very, very little. It's kind of fun. But no motorized boats out there. So there's a 90-foot hole in the middle out there on the north end.
That's what I was just going to ask you about. I had always heard that.
There's some good fishing. You can actually catch some walleyes down in that hole.
No kidding.
Yeah. I will have to say my first triathlon was swam here and ran around here. And biked, we biked out to Centerville. I was obviously very much younger.
Just you saying triathlon makes me want to take a nap.
That was fun. I was a decent swimmer.
253, you're clear.
I was a terrible runner, but I was a good biker.
Hey, you were actually a lifeguard for a while, weren't you?
Yeah.
Rice Street for a town vehicle that was hit while it was parked in the parking lot. No suspect.
Well, not a lot going on. What do we got here in pending? Check out the pendings there.
Yeah.
254, you can cancel 231, I'll take that. 231, clear.
934 Edgerton, there's a 911 hang-up, and it's an open line. It sounds like kids are playing, so maybe they were playing on the phone. We got 976 Arcade. Daughter's boyfriend is threatening to hit the caller and refusing to leave.
In a blue Dodge Durango right outside the front
He
door.
threw an ashtray at her and spit at her, and he is shouting in the background.
Well, we'll probably got to go there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been dispatched yet.
30, it sounds like the male is trying to flee in a red van. He did kick the cop.
Oh, is that the same call? Male trying to flee in a red van.
I don't know if that was from the Edgerton call or not.
I don't know.
Several pending calls in the Western District.
Starting to pick up the busyness. We're gonna pass some of these cars, see if we can get to that 976. It's the one advantage of a left turn lane.
934 Edgerton. Oh, wait a minute. 976 Arcade, my bad. And a car has been dispatched to it. And that is where the red van is leaving from.
All right, so we're on the lookout for a red van.
Yep.
4282.
Hopefully, we didn't just miss it.
23 on the other side with one.
We're about a half mile north, so
Tell me with one, Edward.
possible we could catch it.
4436 and 4437 getting cancellation.
There's a red van with nobody in it, parked the opposite way.
4437, did you copy? 1317.
Copy. 1317. Shots fired, 762 Holly Avenue. 5 to 6 shots heard, nothing. North, possibly near Sylvie, nothing else seen or heard, and there's another
Well,
clone
looks like
pending
the
at
squad
9:30.
might be out with the van.
Got the red van there.
North of the address, nothing else seen or heard.
That could be the wrong van. Is that Mark Ross?
Yes, it is.
Officer Ross, do you need our assistance?
Squad 243.
So that means yes.
253.
That means yes, you need our assistance.
257
Are you working alone or not?
I'm one hang up from the land.
Oh, you got a two-person car? Okay. Not too much. You're on live today, just so you know. We're live today during lunch there. One of the finest St. Paul police officers.
Deputy Scott on the air today down there in Beaumont.
How you doing, brother?
There we go.
See my brother?
Yeah. Yeah. So, who's the suspect or the?
I don't know if there's a crime here yet.
No, I know.
This woman here's a therapist. I don't know her name.
Okay.
This is one of her clients. They have a meeting scheduled. She just has to show up when things are falling apart.
Okay. Is that the
This is the daughter.
male party there standing in the alley?
No, he's kind of a neutral or detached.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's
She's
good.
good. She hasn't been beaten up or anything, so that's good. Okay, here we go.
Let's just hang out until we see what's going on.
42.
So as most domestics are handled, they divide up and
Got a couple coming.
each party talks to
One more coming.
standard police protocol is to split up the parties, get their stories, let them tell what they know. Most domestics, but like Officer Ross said, you don't really know that there's a victim, if there's a crime or not. An argument isn't a crime, and throwing an ashtray can be a crime depending on how hard you throw it.
And if it hits.
If it hits, yeah.
If there is, we can't find one, I guess.
I think worth noting is that Officer Ross mentioned that this was a therapist who was stopping in for a routine visit with one of the residents here and walked in on mayhem going on.
Some shots fired over there on Marshall and Holly, and so we're probably going to leave here and head over to the west sector, which we haven't been a ton of. It doesn't sound like they're going to make any type of arrest in this particular incident, but
this looks pretty calm.
So let's see what type of conflicts are being generated over there in the Western District. So we're southbound on Arcade. Past the old Governor's Bar, which is now the Oxtail Bowl. Past the old Whirlpool site.
196-731.
Years ago, now the Sun World Supermarket. Sneak over there on Phelan Boulevard. Really the brainchild of Senator Randy Kelly. Build a development corridor down here on the east side going all the way out to Clarence and Maryland, where the BCA was the anchor. Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is now the anchor on that end. And down here on this end, the anchor is Health Partners. Multiple clinics from Health Partners.
Yeah, I travel Phelan Boulevard pretty much daily. It is a handy way to get from the east side to near downtown.
I guess we forgot to turn our lights off. Sorry about that.
No wonder everyone was moving.
Yeah. Some sometimes when the lights are shining, we're going to show you the inside of the squad car some night in terms of what equipment we have here. This is a pursuit-rated police vehicle. It's got heavy-duty everything in it. Got a mounted radio in terms of, and also several extra radios. Red lights, siren. And, we have all the other equipment. Stop sticks, mace, medical equipment, a collection of Mountain Dew tops in case Pat ever loses them.
I found it, by the way, during that stop.
Oh, I found your flashlight thing, but I forgot to bring it Friday night. Sorry about that.
Perfect.
Anyhow, here's the Health Partners Clinic. There's another one up there, neurology. All this concept, you got to give Senator Randy Kelly credit for fighting to get state funding to get this road done and to create these development districts on both ends. See the skyline of downtown as we're coming in there. Read that pending there on University Avenue that just came up.
Affirmative.
So at 555 University Avenue West, Max Brake and Muffler. This is a 50-year-old Nigerian male, 6'1", 200 pounds, is verbally aggressive and causing problems. Was there yesterday causing problems also. And that's been pending for 13 minutes. A lot can go wrong in 13 minutes. 6'1", 200 pounds, wearing a red and black plaid shirt and black pants.
Pending means it has not been dispatched. So unless the officers are actually looking for it in their queue, if they're on other calls, they're not aware of it. They could actually be writing a report on a different case number and drive by. That means they're not aware of it. So we'll swing over to 555 University. And then on the other side of the freeway is where we're getting these reports of shots fired.
257, can you try another call back?
Bryson, Pennsylvania, once again, for those of you that watch us on midnights, our favorite stop.
Squad 3399, computer mount to the abandoned vehicle at Burns and Mayfair with no plate.
Keep in mind, the city of St. Paul is divided into 3 precincts. A West Precinct with the office at University, or pardon me, Hamlin and 94. That extends over really to Western Avenue. And then a central office that goes up Rice Street, downtown, and the west side. And then the east side, which east of 35E, that's the Eastern District.
5958.
And then, of course, in the suburbs, they're divided up by different cities and jurisdictions. So there's the cathedral in front of us, St. Paul Cathedral. And we're hitting University Avenue here. And just remember, when we're on University Avenue, every 240 numbers is a half mile, 480 to a mile. The long blocks here are about 60, or not about, are 60 numbers per long block. We know that Dale is 620, westbound 620, and we're going to 555, which means if you subtract 60 from 620, then you're back to 560. I think my math is right there, right?
Yes.
So the 555 is likely the corner of Kent and University. And all in Ramsey County, all odd numbers are on the north or west side of the street. North or west side of the street, and the even numbers are on the south and east side of the street. So 555 should be right there on the corner of Kent and University.
There it is.
So we're going to scope by a little bit, see what we can see. If there's anybody acting loud and boisterous.
Can't see inside the place.
832.
We'll be clear of that apartment
So it's
complex.
supposed to be 6 foot tall.
Copy.
So did it say, can you read the narrative of the suspect again, Ruth?
Yeah, he's a Nigerian male. I believe it was 6 foot 1.
23
Copy.
6 foot 1, 200 pounds, red and black plaid shirt.
That's
black
him in there.
pants.
Is he behaving or what?
Yeah, he won't leave. He's not supposed to be back here, and he's being very irrational. He played a good amount on his car to have his control arms tune up and put front brakes on. Someone left the mirror off of the bill, and he wants us to do it for free. And I'm explaining to him it's not on the receipt.
The owner asked that he's not here today, wants him removed and trespassed permanently.
Who said that?
Jim Davis, the owner.
Okay.
He's available. I can get him on the phone if you need to.
Oh, there's no need to get him on. We'll send him on his way. And
Thank you. Sorry to bother you. You guys were here yesterday.
Are we going to have to
got him calm down? Hopefully, we were hoping it was over.
He was here yesterday?
Yeah, we got him calmed down. He went and got cash, paid for his car, but the mirror got left off the list, so we never did the mirror, and he's upset that he has to pay more money to get a mirror put on his car. But it's not on the receipt.
Did he have a quote originally?
Yeah.
But is there an itemization of what was on the quote?
Yeah.
Was the mirror on there?
No.
Huh?
No. I can get.
Well, let's just visit with the gentleman first of all and see how that goes.
We'll be right back with you.
We won't be far away. You might be able to listen in. Sir, can you talk to us a little bit? Come on out and tell us your side of the story. Well, I want to get a mask on. Hold on. You got a mask on there, sir? We don't want
mask too. You don't mask.
Yeah.
Look, your mask.
I'm going to put it on right now. There you go. Well, tell me your story.
My story is this.
Come a little closer. I can't hear you.
Okay, my story is this.
That's good right there.
I bring my car.
This is
I buy this car in an auction. I bring the car in. I say, I buy this car in an auction. I want your check everything. I want to tell me the estimate and I pay for it. That check on the car, everything. That tell me 13
Info squad's on a pending weapon call at 1602 Mississippi River Boulevard. There's a male yelling, holding a large knife, doing karate moves. Not currently directed at anybody. He's in a red shirt and red shorts, Asian male, black socks, black shoes and blue backpack, and a red bicycle. Unknown where the knife is now. Info squad's on a pending weapon call.
$286.
283.
286. Philadelphia, the place is 708. X-ray. Bravo, X-ray.
Copy 1331. Squad 254. 254. I'm going to be clear with a state accident report. Report 1332.
156 for case number.
You're CN 196-738.
Copy.
Roger, 34.
$52.86.
5286.
Cars are clear. GOA.
It will only become a police issue if
5034. $22.61, $22.65.
6-1.
6 for domestic 1316 wagon wheel for the township. Caller's 18-year-old brother attacked her. She's waiting outside while brother is inside. 1335.
347.
347.
I'll be clear from this. You can put me on Bravo 351's call, and I'll be en route to the jail.
Copy. 1335. C9, I'm permanently with Fergie. Copy, thanks. Squad 510, checking your status. Code 4, 1335.
Code 4.
Yep.
what's your first name? Bernard.
Squad 156. Mark this a report, please. And we'll head to the weapons call.
Copy for the weapon. Complaint 60 on 2 Mississippi River Boulevard, 1337.
Yeah, if you could, the vehicle comes back clear, the VIN does. If you could change it to a parking complaint, and I'm going to send you a message to, you know what, why don't you leave it like it is for just a minute. I'm going to add a comment.
Yeah, I'm not going to write, but here's what I'm going to do. If I write you something, I'm going to give you my card, okay? In a minute, there's going to be a couple St. Paul police officers here. Well, there are going to be some police officers here, and they're not going to probably be as kind as I am. So I'm just telling you, you need to call the management here, tell them you think your car wasn't adequately fixed, and try to negotiate them to fix your mirror. But we're working on it. We're trying to figure out if there too. But if we can't fix arguments over businesses, what do you got there?
4490.
Okay, so we got this.
4490.
That'll be in the pack.
Original estimate being that 1558.
Okay.
And they took 258 off.
No, but they did it because they couldn't fix it. Bernard, why are you frustrated with us? How did I put you down?
Because if you don't want to listen to what I'm saying, you take the 1500 and you don't want to listen to me.
Well, I've listened, Bernard. I've listened.
282.
Yeah.
When did you take it? When?
Yeah, mark this as specific 258.
When is that?
Your DOC.
And I can put it out. I was going home. But that tells me 1300. I don't take my 1300 and I'll give you that.
Copy, area check, Robert Street South and Cesar Chavez Streets. No comp
You can
to
complain,
see.
and you have complained.
Drove by
We
and a
support
female
your right to
said that she
complain.
wanted to kill him.
But now it's-
She was across from
complaining
the
isn't
liquor
doing any
store.
good. You need to
Native
take
female, 30s, 5'6", medium build, wearing a pink
small
hoodie.
claims court and
Come on,
try to
39.
get your $100 back.
39.
Right? How much
You can
money
send me
do
the
you
shots
think you
fired and I'll
deserve?
check the area. Copy for the shots fired. 932 Marshall, 1339.
I don't think they're not going to fix.
44, 36, 44, 42.
Well, what if they say they're not willing to do it for less than 100? Then what?
44, 42. I think this is the same guy that people have been calling about a couple times today. Apparently he's standing in the
Bernard,
park.
I understand your
Looks like
request.
he's
And
praying
if
or
I was in
meditating.
your situation, I would
Black male,
complain
tan
too.
jacket,
Okay?
blue jeans.
I get it.
At Western
But
Hills
once
Park.
they refuse to do it, you have to go to a different course. Law enforcement doesn't fix these kinds of problems.
333.
You know?
333.
We don't fix it, and the problem
Change it
is
to a
the
proper
longer you
damage
stay
accident.
here,
I'll clear it here in
the greater
a
likelihood
minute,
that
and I'll
someone's
go with
gonna come.
339.
When the St.
Canine
Paul
can
Police
cancel.
Department get here, they're
Copy,
going to give you
69,
a
you
no
can clear. Thank you.
trespassing order, and then you're going to not be able to step on this property again. So wouldn't it be better if you just tried to resolve it a different time through the telephone, email, talk to management? Do you have their email address? Well, have you emailed the owner yet? You should email the owner of the place first. What do they have to say inside there, Patrick?
This shows all the work that was done and what all of the work cost, and that the mirror is another $150.
And the reason they didn't fix it, they didn't know about it at the time?
They knew about it, but they did not include it in the work that was done.
Well, I mean, this is a typical business disagreement, and we can't force them to fix it. That's not how it works in America. But no, you don't have to accept it. There are. Well, here's what I'm saying. Huh? You have
Clear advice with 286.
You have a different perspective of what government can do in America. We can't resolve. We can't resolve.
510, I'll take a PPV. Farmers Market, code 4.
I am talking to you as a man, and I'm insulted that you don't. Yep. Well, you might know your rights, and that's great, but you don't know how law enforcement works, because we can't resolve disputes over $150 car
Can you also log me out, please?
Unfortunately, that's left to the small claims court. And you can fill out a form and you can claim that they charged you too much or they didn't do the job. And you go and you argue over the $150. Well, they didn't charge you $1,500. They charged you $1,300, right? Yeah, but the original quote was $1,500. Oh yeah. I'm just looking at the documents. Hey, sir, before you go anywhere, I just got a question for you. So, if he wants to appeal to the owner of the business, does he have the owner's information?
22, pick one at the area.
Can you do that? Get the owner's information and then you can appeal to them.
The whole problem with this is in a situation like this, it isn't a
Your baby mother?
All right, so what do we got there? Is that the owner's card?
Well, it's Jim Davis on it.
Yep, he's the boss.
Yeah,
he's the general manager.
Yeah.
He's not here right now.
Nope.
Now, someone mentioned Jim Davis didn't want him here earlier, but he hasn't actually talked to Jim or not.
He had it.
Okay.
But he said yesterday get him done. He called the
Well,
cops
okay, but
yesterday.
you tell Mr. Davis that he should take his phone call, okay?
Okay.
At a minimum. Here's the owner, Mr. Davis. Give him that card. You don't want the card? Please just take it, okay?
Oh, you have one already?
Have you tried to call the owner? Have you talked to him? Bernard, here's the thing. The man that can resolve your issue isn't here, okay? So the best thing you can do is leave now and come back when he is here, and then you won't get a no trespassing order. If you stay here now, the police are going to give you a no trespassing order, and then you're not going to be able to come back. So leave now and come back to talk to Jim Davis tomorrow. Come back tomorrow and talk to Mr. Davis about your rights, all right? Thank you. Hopefully, we're successful at convincing him to leave. Well, that was a little longer process than I had hoped. Never mind the fact he doesn't have a license plate on the car. That's pretty typical police work, though. Just negotiating with people. Obviously, you probably heard most of that. He was unhappy that the mirror wasn't fixed. He just bought that car in an auction, so he's getting it registered, but they haven't sent him any plates yet. That's why he didn't have any plates. Obviously, we're not trying to aggravate an already aggravated business situation, especially with some cultural understandings. Obviously, he thought the police could fix everything, and we can't fix everything. Civil disagreements like that, we're not able to fix. So, interesting perspective. In a lot of other countries, the police are able just to go in and say, hey, you're going to do this. That's not the way America works. Ready for a radio broadcast here?
Yes, sir.
I will wait till the music's out. Sorry. Trying to get him to roll his window down there, but. Feels at home over here for me, I gotta tell you.
Oh, me too.
2400. And customer went on his way. He may return tomorrow, however. Yeah, he really believed that the police ought to be able to fix every problem. Get a $1,300 bill that bottom line on it is there was a mirror that wasn't fixed that they said would be another $150. It's probably not too complicated. It looked like cabling that goes from an electronic box to the mirror, right?
That's what it looked like.
And I gotta give him credit for wanting it fixed, because if it was me, I probably just would have put some sticky tape on the backside of the mirror and put it in the spot that I wanted. Some people like things fixed right.
And some of us are satisfied with what makes do.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that the mirror wasn't adjustable, it's just that you had to get out of the car to fix it.
Right.
And you know, it looks like the original quote was more than the $1,300 that he paid. Paid the $1,300 and he thought everything was fixed. And in his argument, he said, "Hey, I showed him the mirror. I expected it to be fixed." But obviously, it's at some point when you have a $150 business dispute, you have to go to small claims court and try to get it rectified there. I'm sure the owner would probably negotiate something. Don't you think?
You'd think so.
But he wasn't willing to leave. They wanted him arrested for trespassing. Seemed like a little bit of overkill. This is one of my favorite churches here. Community-based church.
If I remember right, this is where we had a gang summit in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, we did. I forgot all about that.
That was when Joe Flaird and I were on bike patrol.
Yep.
And we were the hit of the summit for the kids.
That's exactly right. Reverend Thomas is here now.
444,
Copy.
.1504 North Snelling. Arguing with the comp. Well, let's run over here. Tool around a little bit. Hope your lunch was good. We haven't eaten ours yet, but we've been told by our friends we can't chew on the live stream.
Especially chips.
Chips.
Southbound on Selby here, crossing Dayton. Up on the right is one of my favorite restaurants, the Handsome Hog. Owned by Chef Justin Sutherland, who was one of...
Would that be a dichotomy, or what do you call that when the handsome and doesn't go with the hog?
I guess matter of perspective.
Yeah.
Because they find, and I find, the hog very handsome. Justin won Top Chef, actually, on one of the food networks.
unbeknownst to a lot of people, hogs and pigs are actually some of the smartest animals out there.
Oh yeah.
Smarter than the canines is what they say. Which is an amazing thing that we... I'll just leave it at that. God bless Mr. Sinclair for his years in the restaurant and bar business there at Ferns. Great guy, passed away a few years back.
His son Johnny is good friends with my daughter Casara.
Yeah, be more specific. How many kids you got, Pat? You keep coming up with new children. I don't know.
I have...
I got 4 for the record.
4.
I have 5 stepchildren.
Okay.
That call on...
None biological.
I'll be clear with the report. Everybody should be clear.
Raised 2 of them from when they were little, and
I didn't know that.
I am dad, and they're my children in every way, shape, or form except blood.
Good for you.
That's how I feel about all my children.
Good for you. Southbound on Dale from Selby. Sweeney's. Ollie, now we're down where there was a shots fired earlier. Of course, we were on the east side, so we weren't really...
You can change this to fireworks and I'll be doing.
Here early, no.
Okay.
You're gonna if you monitor us on Fridays, you're gonna hear us running around trying to figure out where the shots fired are coming from. That's something that the shot spotter would help us so much with if we had that technology.
Dog had very short legs.
Biker, am I going to hit him or did he go?
Not sure where he went. He must have turned.
Make sure. Worst, there's the University Club. Been there for some nice events. I think that's the University Club, right? Is that
That's
the
the
club?
University Club.
It's on Summit. I'm never sure why they call it University Club, but coming down Grand Hill.
Did you see the Friday postponement?
Yes.
Okay.
This one yours or mine?
That's mine.
If I left my Mountain Dew at the muffler shop. couldn't have done that,
No,
could I?
you never went away from the car.
It's God telling me to drink less Mountain
Here
Dew.
it is. I got it.
Well, maybe not. All right. Medics are on a run. We don't always it's from the new fire station down here on Grand and 7. For those of you that haven't watched us that night, we're down here a lot at bar closing time. There's a fair amount of activity here at the bars during closing time. Bergeron isn't usually open at night, but McGovern's is. Casetta's, of course. These are all great restaurants. The Parlor, Tom Reed's, the Downtowner, the new Truck Park restaurant. It's a very active, fun part of town to come. It's our job to make sure everybody's safe. Sometimes at bar closing there's disagreements, and this is one of the few commercial strips in the metro area that allows people to go in and, you know, enjoy a bar. Now, they're supposed to socially distance, but in Minneapolis, they've prevented people from actually being in that bar type environment. Everyone has to be at a table. So as a consequence of all that decision making, there are occasionally disagreements at the end of the night. Is that a fair way to put it, or?
That would sum it up very well.
We try to avoid the politics and just kind of stick with the facts as best we can. We are back downtown. I think one of our community service officers is down here trying to do some outreach. Just so you know, in order to, last year with all the shootings that we had, and we had a record number of homicides last August and September for that 60-day period. And so in order to curtail that, I hired some outreach workers to go on the street and try to talk to kids about what they're up to and rethink sort of the path that they're on. And we're gonna stop if I can find one. I know one works down here at the bus stop talking to people, trying to get these kids to stop. He's actually, in the 80s, I met him in the 80s. Pat and I both did. His nickname was Star Wars. He was part of the original Gangster Disciples. He had a great personality, but just, you know, let's face it, gang members are into criminal activity. So we arrested him a few times, and over time, he found a new path. He's definitely a good God-fearing person now, and he's out trying to convince these kids, these young gang members, to stop shooting at each other. That's our first priority, get the gunplay reduced. So he's usually down here working downtown where he can connect with a lot of kids.
I think the tobacco shop is right around the corner on Minnesota, isn't it?
I think so. Have a little conversation and see how his work is going. But here's some of the. This 5th of Minnesota basically is.
Northwood Drive. Phone call regarding theft of mail.
She's yelling.
On the Come Spring doorbell today.
Anyhow, his name is Andre. His nickname Star Wars. But gonna see how he's doing down here. You probably won't get to see him, but you might be able to get to hear. Andre, what's going on? Come over here. You're live on Facebook. Tell us how your outreach is going for these young kids. What are you up to there? You got some You got some good outreach going?
Oh yes, of course I do. You see, it's quiet and I'm just doing my job. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, Andre?
I'm all right. Let me step back a little bit.
There you go. That'd be good. Yeah. So the wind's blowing, so we won't catch COVID from each other. You got your mask on, though. I don't know if I should put mine on or not.
I don't have nothing, man. You know I ain't got nothing.
So anyhow, you want to tell a little bit about your story about, you know, how we met back then, you and I and Pat back in the 80s?
Well, y'all was chasing me. Y'all could have told them that. Y'all was chasing me.
Well, we didn't want them to know that we could run faster than you.
No, man, but I'm just going well down here, man, you know, taking care of these young
Tell
boys.
them about your story, though. Tell them you grew up in Chicago.
Well, they know I grew up in Chicago, and
No,
I
they don't
came
know
down
that.
here when I was 18, and...
Well, you were a little kid. You're in the projects. They wanted you to be a little leader.
But, yeah, they wanted me to be a leader at 11 years old, you know.
Yeah.
So I became a disciple and came here when I was 18 and started the disciples here with a couple fellas. You know, but I mean,
No, we're proud of you. We're proud of you for the changes that you made.
But yeah, man, I had to change my life for the better so I can help these young gang members.
You
know
moved
what
to Florida for a while, you know.
For 15 years.
15 years just to get away from some of this BS.
Well, yeah, I had to take a break.
Get away from it, and
Yeah,
then.
am I on? They see me?
Huh?
Do they see me?
No, but they can't see you. But if you want them to, the camera's facing forward. You know, they can see you later. They can hear you. They can hear you.
Okay.
They can hear you. But I just want them to hear your story because it's a fascinating story. And you and I kind of kept in touch after you moved to Florida.
Yeah.
And so you came back. You're working at Ruby Tuesdays as a cook.
Yeah.
So so now you're working for us, trying to keep kids from shooting at each other.
That's it. That's all, and it's working.
Yeah. So all they need
a
is
good
a
thing.
little bit of coaching.
That's it. That's all. And I need a little help from the rest of the OGs to come down here and help me.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, we haven't had many shootings downtown.
You're not gonna have none on my watch. I don't know about when I leave.
So anyhow, you every morning you send me a copy of some scripture.
Every morning.
And you go, and I appreciate that. And it's nothing better than to know that I know you've God's been an important part of your life.
Well, it's different, man, when you come from where I came from and then get with God. You know, I changed my life for the better.
I'm very proud of you.
You know?
Very proud of you. So I just looking at what you sent me and thank you for your work. So,
But I love to ride with y'all one night in the back.
Just for old time's sake?
Yeah, just let's roll.
There's no screen back there.
Huh?
There's no screen back there.
Well, we can put one up there, right here by the mirror.
Yeah.
And go.
Now your shirt says Neighborhood Hope.
Neighborhood Hope dealer.
You're a hope dealer.
That's right.
You're dealing hope.
That's it.
I
That's
like
all.
that.
I like it.
I like it.
Neighborhood Hope.
Go get your picture on there. Take your mask off though, so they can see you. There you go. Right here. That's Andre. Neighborhood Hope dealer on his shirt. He's dealing hope.
Andre Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank him for his work. Thank you, Andre.
You're welcome.
All
Take
right.
care.
All right. Keep
Good to
in
see
touch.
you, Andre.
All right, and tell little Susie to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I will. By the way, Andre doesn't have Facebook, right?
No.
You can't even watch yourself.
No, I don't want to. You'll get one from me.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Really nice man.
He sure did keep us running for a while in the 80s.
Yeah. Well,
it's good to see. Good to see he got through all that, past all that.
Yep.
Gives you hope.
What we got going? Anything? Doesn't sound like much, huh?
Your case number 196771.
Received. assistance. I'll be back on duty.
Copy, 429. For disorderly technical job site near 1665 County C. Charlie 2 for a female that's screaming very loudly for the past 15 minutes.
We are going to keep going for one more hour. We got enough time. Just so you know, thought we had a meeting that's been canceled, so we're going to go till 3:11. We won't be going any longer than that. I got a 4 o'clock meeting to go, and while I enjoy this the most, it takes some administrative work to run the department.
Yes. Keep this place going, boss.
There's a medic behind us. Oh, he turned off. What do we got there? What's our latest call there, Pat?
At Bethesda Hospital.
What do we got?
13-year-old son not listening, arguing in front of the hospital. The 13-year-old son's name is Abdi.
So this is an interesting thing about police work. People call us for everything. A child not listening technically isn't a crime. Maybe in the olden days it was, but so the county's not set up anymore to use county facilities for delinquency that isn't a crime.
3929, clear report.
So we're going to go up to Bethesda Hospital. But by the way, there's a beautiful shot of our state capitol.
3950 arriving.
Yeah, I'm biased, but I think we got the most beautiful state capitol there is.
Our governor, Tim Walz, is in there. His office is on the left up there. Transportation building, administrative building, House building, state office building. New Senate building here coming up on our right.
Go ahead and send me the 911 I can advise for now.
So basically the governor's office in the state capitol, the Senate leader, Paul Gazelka, his office right here. One of these windows, those are the two main negotiators. Right now, you'll see in the news, you probably saw them both on Almanac there last week.
3950, should we clear assistance?
So, anywhere in particular?
Sounds like on the Capitol Boulevard side.
Okay.
At the front entrance.
Is the road still open here?
Looks like it.
So we're gonna attempt to be role models for a 13-year-old. Get him to listen to his mom.
I'll be clear.
Is this call still impending?
I believe it is impending.
Kathy, 4090, please. You can take the phone call for a civil issue if you want for 1725 Monastery.
So Bethesda became one of the center hospitals for COVID, correct? I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know if it still is, but
1413.
so we gotta be a little careful in case people here are. What's that? Looks like Lou.
No one in there.
No one in there. Well, we're not inclined to go into a hospital.
Well, it said they were out front, so maybe the parent got them to listen.
This is not an entrance. All deliveries through the Skyway. Okay.
7218.
Yeah, maybe it's the parking ramp Skyway that they come in on.
For medical 2901 Mount View Boulevard, apartment 205, 66-year-old male, injury from a fall.
18 got Illinois.
1414.
See, we'll just peek. We're not actually going to go in, but we're just going to peek over here to the right. See if there's a mom arguing at all.
No, don't see a soul.
We're going to check how old that call is. Anybody ever see that James Bond movie where he's driving, people are shooting at him and he's driving back? I'm driving backwards looking at the mirror. In the old days, you were required to, not the mirror, but the screen. In the old days, you were required to turn around and keep your eyes in the back, right?
Right.
Remember your driver's test, if you didn't stop before you turned your head back, you failed.
Right.
So, but nowadays everybody uses these cameras.
196.
I remember when Roger Moore was being shot at, he got in his car, this is before, and he had a camera on his phone, and he was driving his car backward.
I remember that.
In that parking ramp, right?
Right.
I always thought, well, won't that be cool someday if we have that? And pretty much you have it now. Now you just need to connect your phone to your rear.
9275 clear assist.
So it doesn't look like the people are here. It came in at 2:05. Unless we get a call back. Yeah, we're going to give the mom a call. Pat's going to give the mom a call and see if... it's obviously a Somali family. Farah Ali is her name. We're going to give her a ring. Talk to her. Well, you won't hear the whole conversation, but at least we'll know if everything's worked out okay. Just open by saying Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, this is Farah. Is this Farah? Hi, did everything work out with Abdi?
Tell her we're the police.
Where are you parked at? Okay, you're on the back parking lot. Are you up on Capitol Boulevard or on Park Street? Okay, you're on Park Street. And what kind of vehicle are you in? Black Toyota Camry, and you're on Park Street. Park Street and what? The back entrance of the hospital in a black Toyota Camry. Okay, we are in a gray SUV, and we will be right there.
143. I'll be at HQ with property.
Okay, sir?
Copy.
Alrighty.
So, we're going to do our best to try to resolve this issue, but nowadays, not everybody behaves. We're gonna also shield the juvenile from any exposure on our camera. So, Pat, why don't you reverse the camera for a minute? Show them your handsome face. You know how to do that? We're gonna someday. Hey, listen. In the future, well, first of all, we want your recommendations for songs to open, but we also want your recommendations for, what do you call that? Car karaoke? Yeah, carpool karaoke. So hit that.
I think I'll leave you to do the karaoke. Let me see
The
here.
flipper.
There it is.
Yeah. So there you go. There's Pat.
I
can lean over and he can sing.
Yeah, let's make sure we're photogenic here at the moment.
Black Toyota.
Black Toyota Camry. He said right by the back entrance. Maybe that car right there.
Yeah. Okay.
That looks like a Camry.
So we're not. When we know there's juveniles involved, we're definitely going to try to shield them from any.
Nope, that's a Honda.
Is that an old one down there, Camry? Is that driving?
That looks like a Mercedes. Acura.
I wonder if he's over here and he thinks this lot at Affinity is part of the hospital. But he did say Park Street, right?
Yes.
Maybe he doesn't know the streets. Maybe he's...
I don't know if he's watching our live or not, because when I called him, he said, "Yes, officer."
I don't know, Pat. Maybe you better give him another ring. Although, this is a strange call for starters, right?
Yeah. I'm going to try calling Farah again.
Farah is usually a female.
Was definitely,
yeah. Was that a woman? It's usually a woman's name.
Hi, we are still looking for you, sir. You're definitely on Park. I'm sorry?
Cross Street.
You're at Park and Charles?
We'll find you.
Park and Charles. And you're on the street or in the parking lot? Oh, you're just standing there at Park and Charles. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stay on the phone with you until we get to you, okay? We are on the other side of the hospital from you right now. Okay, we're going to be coming down Como to Park. So in a minute here, you should see us turn onto Park.
Ask him for a little advice about why you won't listen. What the argument's about.
On the Park Street side behind the black building. Behind 559. Yeah, it sounds real windy where you are there. Hang on.
He is behind the Affinity building.
555 Park. Okay, we just drove by the front of 55.
Vulnerable 14-year-old has
Turn around, you said?
House shelter. Staff is attempting to follow him. Name is Capone.
He said he's waving at us.
Up there.
Hang on a second here.
That's him up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, we see you now. We will be right there with you.
All right. So
here we go.
We are going to park right here. We're going to go talk. We'll be, So, what's the problem? Good, how are you?
Oh, my little son, he's with me in the car.
Yeah.
He's not listening, he's arguing, he's talking to me a little bit like some other person.
Yeah. Let's
go
go over there. Let's go over and talk. Are you ready, Pat?
Yeah.
I don't want to stay in here.
I'll stay in here.
No, come on with me.
All right. We'll be right back.
Actually, you want to stay back? You stay in here and talk to him a little bit. That's good.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to turn this camera around though, since these folks will not be in the camera view, because I'm sure you're tired of looking at me. So the sheriff is going to speak to this gentleman and potentially with his son.
I'm going to be on the vehicle again at Clemons, Charlie.
So we ended up being in an upper parking lot. I wasn't kind of turnaround area behind the hospital. I wasn't even aware existed.
139. DOC 1504 Smelling North, male refusing to leave, arguing with the caller. Caller also has 5 to 6 small children on scene. Nate Cannon, black male, 38'5'9", average build, black shirt and black pants. 139-year-old.
144 copy. Highland, Mississippi River.
1425.
150, cancel 144.
144, you're clear.
Thank you, Rob.
So it hasn't been extremely busy today, but it's been steady. The call load has been steady. There have been a lot of calls that had to go into the pending queue because all the cars in town were tied up on other calls. But the day shift used to always be much slower than it is lately. Used to be Minnesota used to be very seasonal with its crime. It was very slow in the winter, and then in the spring and summer it would get very busy. And now our call load is staying up pretty much year round. And there are quite a few calls in pending. Let me take a look here at what they are. 1 second here. The sheriff is right now talking to the young man himself, the son of the caller. There's a call impending on the west side where it's really sad that it's still impending. There's they refer to it as a PIC, a person in crisis, who is suicidal and left an address on foot. There's a pending disorderly conduct in the Western District at Western and Dale of a person who wants some unwelcome guests removed from their home. A welfare check in the 1200 block of East Magnolia. The caller believes her mother is not being properly cared for.
6-7 location, Coleman and yeah, bye. 2264.
2264, I'll take that medical and advice.
Copy, thanks for 229.
529, your caller's on the way down.
Yeah, the young man in this case here that we're out on is 13 years old. And that's pretty much universally a difficult age. Here comes the sheriff. Will give us an update on how this went down.
241 CCD is going to be advised, and you
Well,
can send us full
it's a
CIC.
classic father and son conflict, if you will, about where are you going to hang out. Had that same conversation with all four of my kids. And I still don't have the right answer. Father's worried about who he's hanging out with.
Black shirt, light color jeans, 1430.
To be honest with you, when all is said and done, I guess I advised him to let him go to the aunt's house where they could, he's worried they're going to do some stuff, but you know, you have to take some chances out there with raising your kids in terms of where they're going to be. And if it's a relative, it's better than a stranger's house, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, but you just coming to any agreement with a father and a son when you're worried about the future of your child, I don't know. It's a tough situation. That's why a lot of parents get their kids involved really heavily with the mosque and the Dukesies, and to try to keep them away from any American influences.
Right.
But that didn't always work either. I'm watching, I'm hoping that car pulls out of there, because I don't see the car pulling out yet, but he said he was going to leave and take him to, there he goes.
For a welfare check, 1286 Magnolia Avenue East, Apartment 2. President check of an 80-year-old mother who Tom believes is not being cared for by a family member.
They actually aren't local. They were just bringing food to someone at the hospital. From Hennepin County.
Well, this saves St. Paul from having to go to one of their calls.
Well, we've several of them.
Yeah, we have.
Did you lose count or what?
Copy, N330, I copy your route to Metropolitan State University for a unoccupied vehicle with no plates or tag info at 1432.
Clear that one, huh?
Sure.
What was it? What was the address that it was?
559 Capitol, Bethesda.
One in custody.
One in custody. 1432.
2400. You can clear the Bethesda Hospital call as assisted.
Copy 1433.
So we are westbound on University at Farrington.
And actually, it's kind of ironic because they would have it, of course, that was a Somali father and son that were
Bravo 543, I'm EOT.
We're having that verbal conflict. Turn that down just a hair. And so we are going to stop and talk to one of our Somali community service officers that we've hired to help liaison with the community. We have a lot of different immigrant communities here in the Twin Cities, and course, for years, the Hmong population was increasing and had great success in their transition. And then the Somali population during the devastating famine and civil war. Well, we have 100,000 plus Somali residents in Minnesota. So we attempt to really keep good relationships with our new immigrants. So one of our most prevalent mosques here in St. Paul is the Dawa, and so the Dawa here is on University Avenue. We have another one, Al Hassan, over on Minnehaha, and one of our outreach workers is Omar Jamal. Omar Jamal just happens to be out and about. I see him on the corner here. I did call him and tell him we're available to meet, but he's I thought he was going to be at the other mosque. How's it going, Omar Jamal?
Hey.
What's going on? You're live on Facebook. And how's everything? We were just meeting with a Somali family. I was thinking I should have had you meet with the father and son.
Well, you just met them?
Do some counseling. Yeah, there was the son wanted to go one place and the dad wanted to go another place. Let's pull up just another 10 feet so I don't get rear-ended. So anyhow, how many mosques we got in Ramsey County here? We got Al Hassan, we got the Dawa. What else we got? You're counting with your fingers?
8, 10.
8 to 10 mosques.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything new we should know about?
I need a mask like this.
Yeah.
Ramsey County
We can get you one, yeah. But what else do you got to say about what's going on in the Somali community? You know?
Well, everything, I guess. We had some Oromo issues, and
they were protesting against the Ethiopian
government.
They think they had one of their people assassinated.
Yeah, a singer.
Oromo, now just for our listeners, Oromo is not Somali. Oromo is really an ethnicity or a clan that dominated South Ethiopia and part of Somalia, but not really much of the Ogaden, but mostly South Ethiopia.
Yeah,
correct?
most of South Ethiopia, yeah.
But a lot of Oromo people, so they learned how to protest here while they were here, and they do a pretty good job.
Yeah, huge. We have that issue. We have now young Somali guys, 15 to 25 years old, loose on the streets, snatching purses from people, committing a very petty crimes. And that's increasing too. So
yeah, and thank you for being willing to admit that, because a lot of people like to go in denial about some of these immigrant kids are not doing well academically, and they're looking for another social network, and they're forming Somali gangs.
Yep.
Correct.
That's another issue we're dealing with now.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the most important ones right now.
Yeah. So I used to follow you on Facebook mostly at night. Now it's daytime.
Well, some people don't like to stay up late.
Okay.
We'll still be doing the
telling
nighttime
us they're
ones.
falling asleep. We're still doing it on Fridays.
Okay.
Still doing it on Fridays, and
okay, well, the immigrants, especially in Sambal, Ramsey County area, East Africans, Somalis, and Ethiopians, and
yeah. Why don't
Kenyans.
you talk a little bit about the different groups? I was just explaining. We have about 100,000 Somalis in Minnesota, but the Ethiopians and there's a Oromo consulate, right?
Ethiopian consulate.
Ethiopian consulate.
Yeah.
And the Oromo Community Center is
it's right here.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not far from here.
Right. And what else?
Somalis. Majority of the East African community in Sambal, in Ramsey County, or even in the state are Somalis. We have a few of Nigerians. Liberian community is mostly is a Brooklyn Park area, but Minneapolis and Sambal, Ramsey County, Somalis are the majority, and now they are becoming active in electoral they participating in the election a higher number than before, and they have a very good relationship with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office.
What do we have for elected officials? I mean, obviously Ilhan Omar, but besides her, what else do we have in terms of elected officials?
We have five Somali elected officials.
Who are they?
Ilhan Omar, Mahmoud Noor, he's a House Representative.
He used to be in the school board in Minneapolis.
He used to be in school board in Minneapolis. Yep. We have Hodan Hassan. She's a House Representative.
She is, okay.
Jamal Osman, who just got elected to the City Council.
Okay.
And Fatah, who just got elected to his state senate. He won Jeff Hayden's position.
Okay, yeah.
You know, Somali guy won that seat.
So they're starting to make the transition into politics.
Yeah, they're starting to make.
In fact, you and I worked together for 10 years on teaching Somali history and culture,
right?
Trying to help the Somali community, and the Somalis are some of the most politically knowledgeable and active.
Yes.
In fact, in the first elections that they had, they had like 2,000 candidates.
Yes.
In 1960.
Right.
Yeah, the Somalia got its independence in 1960. There were 3 countries that had divided Somalia up. The Italians were the predominant one, but then the British
and
the French. So French Somalia has become Djibouti.
British Somaliland,
and not recognized yet as a country by the United Nations, right? And then
Italian
Somaliland, and so it's and some of those divisions are by clan. Obviously, this British Somaliland was more of the Isaac clan.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing history.
And because one of the things that the community is up until now very appreciative is we give them food. We give them thousands of free masks
from our help team.
From our help team.
Donations
and also the thank the individuals who donated these, average citizens. We'll give this to the immigrants.
We got thousands of cloth masks that were made for the high-rise communities.
High-rise communities, you know, elders, the seniors. Give them food.
Yep.
So.
Well, it's been a tough time for everybody, and tougher for the poorer and less fortunate.
Yeah, so. And how long will you be on? Till like
today,
6?
Just till 3 today, 3 o'clock today.
Till 3 today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, today we're just till 3 o'clock.
We'll be back out.
I need that mask.
We'll get you one. I'll get you a mask like that. No problem.
So.
Anyhow, thanks for your work as a community service officer, and keep working what you're doing. Let's see if we can help those parents raise their kids so they're not out shooting each other or being radicalized. You did a lot of work helping parents not get their
kids radicalized. So I will do that and the best I can, and I really I know the feeling of the community, and they look up to the sheriff's office. They have high expectation, and we're trying to do our best.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Dawood has been helping you.
Dawood has been helping us.
Dawood's only part-time. You're full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you, Sheriff, and we want you two guys to stay safe.
Do our best.
Make sure you stay
we
safe.
got to keep moving so somebody doesn't figure out where we're at.
Okay.
Good to see you.
See you, Omar. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Thank you.
1443.
So that's just another one of our initiatives to try to stay in contact with the community, help where we can, especially during this COVID problem, but also with the increasing crime in any immigrant community. It's no secret that a number of kids, when they're younger, search for some alternative friend group. We got a call impending we're going to zoom up to on Walgreens. You want to read that, Pat? It's
Yeah, this one's a ways off. It's
but it's still impending. I don't know why.
It's a regular issue with the same gentleman, apparently. It's the Walgreens at Rice and Larpenteur. There's a male who's already been trespassed from the store, who's in one of the aisles filling up bags of property that he will, in the past, just walks out the door without paying.
It's a Roseville call. I'm not sure what they're stacked up on. It's not a sheriff's office call, it's a Roseville call, but this isn't the first. Several Walgreens throughout the metro area.
Street and then cut into Wood Street into the project.
Several Walgreens.
Park where my car is, right by the caves, and come walk with me.
We're gonna just zoom around here.
Will do.
These poor people in these Walgreens, they just sit and they watch these guys load up their carts and then they walk out the door. And
oh, that's actually on the Maplewood side of the street.
Oh, that one. Oh, so it's the Maplewood side.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking Setzer's. That's what I was. Setzer's is on the other side. I don't know why there isn't a squad there, but this is part of what gets confusing for law enforcement. So when it does get dispatched, it'll be dispatched on the Maplewood frequency, which terrible situation here. We really don't want to go around oncoming traffic, but oh, the guys stopped for us.
Clear right.
So, if the call does get dispatched, you know, St. Paul car can be right across the street and not hear it.
They'd have no idea.
No idea. It's a different frequency. And well, we're the sheriff's office, and we pretty much have the authority. We have the authority to go to both sides.
Fine threading of the needle there.
We don't. You know, a lot of these departments, like St. Paul, doesn't like to go to Maplewood unless there's an officer involved issue or some threat of immediate danger, or if they're asked. So, something smells. Is that a fire burning, or is that our car burning again?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think we're okay, right? I'll turn the lights off, because if I keep my lights on, they'll cross in front of me, and that's the last thing I need. Turn our Maplewood frequency on as we're going there. Make it the primary in our call. Remember, there's six frequencies. Sadly, might be too late. How many minutes has this been pending? Probably 20.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
Have a good night, 1448.
However, the suspect in this is going to be a 60-year-old black male,
2163 Van Dyke Street, North.
5'8".
On a parking complaint for a red four-door sedan, parked facing the wrong way next to a trailer. It is unoccupied. Something suspicious.
He's skinny, wearing a black hat, black track jacket, and black pants.
So there won't be a crime committed unless
they have.
Unless he tries to walk out the door without paying. You can put as much stuff in a cart as you want. Until you break the threshold of leaving the door, it's not a crime. So what we're going to do, Pat, we're going to send you in your plain clothes. Just take a look, see what's going on.
Okay.
And if he comes out the door, then I'll just confront him in uniform. But why don't you give us a call? You know, you got my number, right? Give us a call when you're in there and what you're seeing. I'll probably park the car so people can see the front door.
I'll turn my mask around so I can't see that it says.
Yeah, I got a bunch of blue ones in here.
Good. Oh, okay.
I had them in there. Where'd they go?
I had moved them.
All right, so there's the Walgreens here, northeast corner. We're gonna try to position ourselves so we got a view of the door if he does come out with his cart. Odds are, in my mind, that is he already left.
Copy, if you're love for check 856 envelope.
Remember, don't confront him on your own, but
and if I don't see him in there,
call us either way.
I will call you.
Or if you do see him, let us know what's going on. Okay, so supposedly he was also previously trespassed. Let us know what's going on. We'll put you on speaker. I should have told him to get some Swedish fish. There's some form of red candy. It's afternoon plus, having a little bit of red candy. So anyhow, this corner here, Larpenteur and Rice, this is the borderline between St. Paul, Maplewood, and Roseville. A little north of here, the sheriff's office has responsibility for Little Canada. So I'd be shocked if the man is still here.
156.
156.
But
We're asked for the car now, 146.
Copy.
yes, sir.
He does not appear to be still in the store.
All right.
But I will just check that out a little further with, with the staff.
Yeah, check with the clerk there.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right.
Bye. So, as you can tell, Pat just was in there. He doesn't see him in the store. But he's going to talk to the clerk. But this is a new trend. It's been happening pretty regular. It happens in Highland Park at the Walgreens there too.
About 339.
339.
Accident property damage at Minnehaha and 7th Street.
Kind of a part of the lawlessness, the general lawlessness that goes on. And if you weren't listening earlier, please take a look at that city council video on Facebook of the Minneapolis City Council. You can tell that even the Minneapolis City Council now is rethinking, how they're going to make sure there are services to their citizenry. And a lot of people ask, why are there so many pending calls? It's real simple. You have to have enough officers to handle the calls. If you don't, the calls require detailed reports, sometimes arrests. It's not, you just don't. In our end, we don't write many reports because
Transporting adult female to
the street guys have to write a lot of reports.
30 miles, 481.
So, and here's the other thing is,
1453.
Typically it takes 5.8 officers to have one on the street at all times, because you have 3 different shifts, you have vacations, sick time, and all those individual things. So in order to have the right number of officers, for every one officer on the street, you need 5.8 officers in your budget. A lot of people don't realize that, oh, you got all these cops. Well, it doesn't do you any good if you're trying to cover a 24-hour shift 7 days a week and compensating for, you know, vacation, sick time, holiday time, etc. So not there?
Not there. He had left a few minutes ago. He's an ongoing problem there, apparently. He took stuff that he
didn't pay for?
Didn't pay for.
Well, we're going to let Maplewood come and handle this call so they can realize that they have a problem so they can get there faster next time. And there should be a theft report made so that you can... That's not him over there, is it? Across the street? The bags. What was he, 5'8", 60 plus? I don't know. I don't know. It could be. There's not like a cart with them.
Right. 282. 282.
They didn't see anything that he specifically took.
Okay.
Just
those bags weren't part of the description that he was carrying there. All right, what time is it getting to be? All right, we're gonna give it 15 more minutes. You know, believe me, nobody is more disturbed by the inability to get to calls in a timely fashion than the officers themselves. You know, officers, they took this job because they wanted to be there and to help people, and some of them, you know, like the idea of rescuing people from whatever adversity they're confronting. Not some of them, all of us, right? But
right.
when you're always constantly behind the 8 ball in terms of getting the call, it becomes very frustrating because you work yourself into a cycle. Correct?
Right.
So, there's another gentleman on the corner here that semi-matches the description, but he doesn't have anything with him. Hopefully Maplewood will be there shortly. I'm not sure what all they're tied up on, but this is why a lot of stores end up hiring off-duty police officers or security guards to work in there, just because at some point the loss of value is too great. Hang on 1 second. Yes, sir. Back to business. I'm still on patrol. What's going on? Yep, that would be great. If you can follow up with Travis about getting some trash cans there, that would be great. Because the volunteers said they've been working with Travis, but they told them about the trash cans, but they're not there. If you can get some of those, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Bye. Well, that's one of our deputies is going to go to work on getting the trash cans out there. At least, I mean, it can't hurt to put trash cans out, right?
Definitely. That's better for everybody.
But they should find a longer-term solution that doesn't involve random tent camping, because it's going to be too cold in another 2 months for any of that anyhow, and it's just, there's no sanitary provisions there.
And it's a much
I'll tell you
bigger
what,
issue now.
If you watched this show before, you know, just talk to your elected officials about a longer-term solution for the 360 people that are in tents, because someone ought to be able to lead. It's not in the sheriff's lane. We like to help, but it's either the mayor's office or the county manager's office, Ryan O'Connor's office, or in the state's level. And I know from sitting in meetings for a year and a half that no one wants to take total ownership of it because they're afraid of the long-term financial consequences. But that's not a good enough reason not to address the problem. And by the way, before we go, I forgot all about this, but thank you to all of you that sent emails to the to the Ramsey County Charter Commission to talk about your preference regarding elected versus appointed sheriff. As you know, there was a meeting Monday night, 2 nights ago, on a proposal from one of the members to make the sheriff appointed instead of elected. I won't belabor the argument now. You can certainly look at the news story that was posted. Sort of my arguments are laid out there to keep it elected. But a lot of you send emails, over 200 plus in 2 days. It really is a matter of democracy versus bureaucracy.
Well put.
So that's important. Again, sometime tomorrow, between now and tomorrow, I'm going to put some of those excerpts of the Minneapolis City Council meeting. And here's what I want you to think about. You know, it's easy for us at St. Paul to say, hey, it's Minneapolis's problem. Here's the problem. All of us want to go to a Viking game someday. All of us want to go to a Twins game. I like to eat downtown. Manny's, Capitol Grill. I've been down there. Minneapolis downtown is a jewel of the state of Minnesota. All right? We have to defend the jewels. It doesn't matter where they are in the state of Minnesota. And we can't let the city of Minneapolis deteriorate because of the lack of adequate policing. And so I know the mayor feels this way over there, that he wants to make sure it gets back to, you know, a thriving community. But I can tell you right now, it's going the wrong direction. I know business owners there. I've talked to hundreds of residents regarding their feeling about going to Minneapolis. We have to recapture downtown Minneapolis at a minimum, and then we'll extend that to other areas. And I can tell you, Sheriff Hutchinson is very committed to providing a safe environment downtown. He's a very good person, and he's very frustrated with the lack of some of the effectiveness caused by the Minneapolis City Council. So we have allies over there, but we're all going to have to pull together and say it's time to make sure downtown Minneapolis remains a jewel in Minnesota. And I hope the governor's office is listening to this, because it's not just Minneapolis. We're one Minnesota, Governor, and one Minnesota means that Minneapolis is part of us.
Absolutely. We are the Twin Cities, after all.
3:01. 7 more minutes. We're going to send us your questions at 651-448-3810. And we'll do our best to Friday night. Friday night, 9/11. I'm sure we'll do an overtime route then. Thank you for all our first-timers who joined us here today. Any closing words there, Yoda?
This has been good, I think, for the viewers and for us to see actually how busy the day shift can be. And it's glad to everyone who could join us. We appreciate you. And we will see you Friday night at 9/11.
And if you do see us pop up as live for some reason before 9/11,
are you able to take that as shift on Cleveland?
It probably means we're in the middle of something that would have high public interest, a chase, a shooting, or something like that. So, you know, don't be afraid to check it out when you see it pop up. And please watch those videos I'm going to post tomorrow, and you realize we cannot allow Ramsey County, or for that matter Minneapolis, to slip into that abode. Thank you. Say your final sign off, Pat. You're so good at it.
See you Friday night, 9/11, live on patrol.